In this video, we are going to answer Biology Paper 1, 2015, Biology Paper 2, GCE 2022, Biology Paper 1, 2022, and the Biology Paper 2, GCE 2016. So these are papers we are going to answer in this video. This is Biology Paper 1, multiple choice. And the year when this paper was written is 2015. Question 1. Question 1, the question reads, which structures are found in a human sperm cell? Which structures are found in a human sperm cell? So we are given 3 columns. The first column, we can see cell membrane. The second column, we have cell. The third column, we have haploid nucleus. So they want us to state or to show the structures that are present in human sperm. So the first thing that we need to do is to identify this type of a cell. So this type of a cell or a human sperm cell is an example of the animal cell. So we do not expect this cell to possess a cell since this one is an example of an animal cell. So we can see a human sperm cell here. We can see haploid nucleus. We can see plasma membrane or cell membrane. We can see mitochondria. So these are some of the parts of the human sperm cell. And we have plant cell and the animal cell here. So we can compare the two. We can compare the two, and we are going to discover that a human sperm has cell membrane and haploid nucleus, according to the previous diagram we saw. Okay, so according to the previous diagram here, we can see haploid cell. We can see haploid cell. So therefore, we are going to say our correct answer here is B. We move on to the next question, which is question 2. Question 2, the question reads, the diagram illustrates the effect of osmosis on a plant cell that has been placed in liquid Q for several minutes. What type of solution is Q? A. Distilled water. B. Hypertonic solution. C. Hypotonic solution. D. Isotonic solution. So we can see that initially the cell was looking like this. Then after immersing this cell in liquid Q, we can see that the cell is looking like this. Okay, so in short, the water molecules have moved out of the cell. So the first thing that we are going to do is to define hypertonic solution. So hypertonic solution is the type of a solution that is highly concentrated. Hypotonic solution is the type of the solution that is less concentrated. Okay, that is less concentrated. So therefore, we are going to conclude by saying the cell was immersed in the hypertonic solution. This one being, we can see that water molecules are moving out of the cell. So therefore, our correct answer is B, hypertonic solution. We move on to the next question, which is the question 3. Question 3, the question reads, the graph shows the effect of temperature on a chemical reaction which was controlled by enzymes. At which point are most product molecules formed? Okay, so the most product molecules will be formed during the optimum temperature or at the optimum temperature. So the optimum temperature is the temperature at which enzyme work well or at which enzyme perform best. Okay, so therefore our correct answer is C. We can see that C is showing the optimum temperature. Without wasting time, let us move on to the next question, which is question 4. Question 4, the question reads, an organism an organism being examined under a microscope was found to have 3 body parts and 3 pairs of legs. To which class of organism does it belong? A. Alichinada, B. Arthropoda, C. Diplopoda, D. Insecta. So this one is an insecta. This one is an insecta. So therefore, our correct answer is D. We move on to the next question, which is question 5. Question 5, the question reads, the diagram shows a photosynthesizing water plant. The rate of photosynthesis is measured by bubbles of gas released. So we can see direction of light, we can see water. The question continues. Which factor in the water was limiting? A. Carbon dioxide, B. Chlorophyll, C. Light, D. Water. Okay, so the factor that was limiting here is light. So according to what we learned in science, when light is changing the media or the medium, when light is changing the medium, the light will bend. Okay, the light will bend. So as a result, uh, light will, light will act as a limiting factor. Light will limit the uh, the this process of photosynthesis. So therefore, our correct answer is light, not carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is capable of dissolving in water. Carbon dioxide can dissolve in water and uh, be accessed by the plant given in the water. So the one that is limiting is uh, light. We shift to the next question, which is question 6. Question 6, the question reads, the table shows the results of 2 food samples that were tested. The first column we have sample, the second column we have iodine solution, so to say. The third column we have Benedict solution. The fourth column we have Bullet reagent. So we know that iodine solution, we use iodine solution when we are testing for starch. Then we use Benedict solution when we are testing for reducing sugars. And we use Bullet reagent when we are testing for proteins. What do these results show? So blue-black shows the presence of uh, starch. Then the orange color shows the presence of reducing sugar. Violet color or purple shows the presence of the presence of proteins. So what do these results show? Okay, so here we have the test for reducing sugars. Here we have the test for reducing sugars. We can even see the final color. We can see orange and black red. Okay, so these are possible colors. Okay, then iodine solution. So iodine solution, when we are testing for starch, we use iodine solution when we are testing for starch, and the color that will show the positive uh, test is blue black. Okay, so blue black will show the presence of starch. We also have bullet test, the test for proteins. So purple color or violet color will show the presence of proteins. So therefore, our correct answer is C. Sample 2 contains starch and proteins. Sample 2 contains starch and proteins. So we can see blue black here and we can see violet here. Okay, we shift to the next question, which is question 7. Question 7, the question reads, the following diagram shows the breakdown of a nutrient. Which of the following identifies P, Q, and R? Okay, so this one is showing uh, the macro macromolecule, the big molecule, which is a lipid. So this lipid will be broken down to glycerol and 3 fat acids. So therefore, we can We can pause the video and assimilate the information given on the screen. Okay, so therefore our correct answer is C. Our correct answer is C. We shift to the next question, which is question 8. Question 8, the question reads, what is the total number of teeth on the upper jaw of the rat? With the dental formula given. Incisors is equal to 1 over 1. Canine is equal to 0 over 0. Premolars is equal to 0 over 0. Molars is equal to 3 over 3. So to answer this question effectively, we are going to make use of the information given here. We are going to make use of the information. So we need to understand that the mouth is made up of two sides, the right side and the left side. So according to the formula given here, we can see that on the upper jaw we have 1 and 3. So 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. 4 times 2 is equal to 8. Our correct answer is 8. We shift to question 9. Question 9, the question reads, the diagram represents a cross section of a part of a plant. A cross section of a part of a plant. We can see phloem and we can see xylem. From which part of the plant was this section cut? A. Dicotyledonous root. B. Dicotyledonous stem. C. Monocotyledonous root. D. Monocotyledonous stem. Okay, so this one was extracted from monocotyledonous root, from monocot. Okay, we shift to the next question. Which is question 10. Question 10, the question reads, the diagram below shows a section through a part of a plant. Which part or parts are responsible for transport of amino acids and sucrose? Amino acids and sucrose. So the vessel that is responsible for transportation of manufactured foods. So amino acids and sucrose, these are manufactured foods. So the one that is responsible is phloem vessel. So we have Y, we have Z, and we have Q. So which one is showing phloem? So phloem is found outside. Okay, as we can see, phloem is found outside. Then xylem is found inside. Vesicular, the cambium is found between phloem and xylem. So therefore, amino acids and sucrose are transported by phloem, and we can see that phloem is being represented by Z here. Phloem is being represented by Z. So therefore, our correct answer is C. Our correct answer is C. Our correct answer is C. So phloem transport sucrose and amino acids up and down uh, to the plant. So these manufactured nutrients or manufactured substances are conducted in two ways, upward and downward. We shift to the next question, which is question 11. Question 11, the question reads, a green plant starts to wilt. It is then altered. After a short time, it recovers. What process causes this recovery? A. Assimilation. B. Active transport. C. Respiration. D. Transpiration. So the process that is making plants to suck water from the roots up to the leaves is transpiration. So transpiration creates a transpiration pool. Okay, creates a transpiration pool. So the water is not being transported by active transport. Okay, water is not being transported by active transport. So the one that are transported by active transport are amino salts. Okay. So the transpiration process creates the transpiration pull or the suction force. So the transpiration pull or the suction force is the one that makes water to move from the roots up to the leaves. So because of the transpiration pull creates a continuous flow of water. So because of the transpiration pull or because of the suction force, the vacuum space is created within the vessel, within the xylem vessel. So to fill up this vacuum space, water keep on moving upward. So therefore, our correct answer is D. Our correct answer is D. Transpiration creates a transpiration pool that helps water to move to the leaves. We shift to the next question, which is question 12. Question 12, the question reads, when the skin is cut, the blood clots. In which order would the components of blood become involved? A. Fibrin, platelets, red blood cells, fibrinogen. B. Fibrinogen, red blood cells, platelets, fibrin. C. Platelets, fibrin, fibrinogen, red blood cells. D. Platelets, fibrinogen, fibrin, and red blood cells. Okay, so we need to understand that when platelets are exposed to damage or injury, both tissues will release enzyme called thromboplastin or thrombokinase. So the function of thrombokinase or thromboplastin is to spearhead the conversion of um, prothrombin so that prothrombin can change to thrombin. Then thrombin will also speed up the conversion of fibrinogen to fibrin. Then at the end of the clotting, fibers would develop, thereby covering the cut or covering the part that is bleeding. Okay, the part that is bleeding. So therefore, our correct answer is uh, D. We are going to start with the platelets. So there are some steps skipped according to the answers given here. So here we are starting from fibrinogen instead of prothrombin. So prothrombin is converted to thrombin, then thrombin helps fibrinogen to convert to fibrin. So our correct answer is D. We shift to the next question, which is question 13. Question 13, the question reads, the diagram below shows a double circulatory system. The double circulatory system. We can see capillaries of the lungs, and we can see capillaries of the rest of the body. Okay, the question continues. Which vessels carry oxygenated blood? So we know that the vessels that carry oxygenated blood is pulmonary, vein, and aorta. So we are going to identify pulmonary, vein, and aorta. So which one is pulmonary vein here? So pulmonary vein take blood from the lungs to the heart. So we can see we have lungs here, and we can see that 2 is the one that is representing pulmonary vein, and this one is taking blood from the lungs to the heart. And we know that aorta takes blood away from the heart to the rest of the body. So the one that is taking blood away from the heart to the rest of the body is 4. So before we come back to the question, you can pause the video and consider the diagram given here. Consider the diagram here given here. You can also consider this one. Then therefore we are going to say our correct answer is 2 and 4. So 2 is representing pulmonary vein, 4 aorta. So these are two uh, these are two blood vessels that carry oxygenated blood or These are two blood vessels that carry pure blood, uncontaminated blood. Question 14, the question reads, which feature of the ovulus decreases the distance over which oxygen and carbon dioxide molecules diffuse? A, each ovulus has a large blood supply. B, each ovulus is only 0.2 milliliters in diameter. C, there are numerous ovuli in the lungs. D, the walls of the ovuli are only one cell thick. So our correct answer is D. So thin walls of the ovular walls are one cell thick, providing gases with short diffusion distance. So the ovule is made up of one cell, so that the distance of diffusion can be reduced, so that a diffusion can take place uh, without difficulties. Our correct answer is D. We shift to the next question, which is question 15. Question 15, the question reads, the diagram below shows the respiratory organs in fish. In which of the labeled parts does gaseous exchange take place? So in fish, gaseous exchange takes place in gills. Gaseous exchange takes place in gills. So therefore, our correct answer is C. So C is the one that is showing gills. So gaseous exchange takes place in gills. We shift to the next question, which is question 16. Question 16, the question reads, the table below shows the aspect of respiration. Which row is correct for anaerobic respiration in plants? The first column is showing amount of energy released per glucose molecule. The second column we have alcohol. The third column we have carbon dioxide. We have carbon dioxide. Okay. So to answer this question, we need to understand that in plant anaerobic respiration typically involves fermentation of glucose to produce ethanol and carbon dioxide. Okay, ethanol and carbon dioxide. So therefore, we know that the amount of energy that will be produced will be low. Then alcohol will be produced. Even carbon dioxide will be produced. So therefore, our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. We shift to question 17. Question 17, the question reads, chemicals in tobacco smoke lead to the breakdown of the tissue of the ovule pores. What name is given to this condition? A. Bronchitis. B. Emphysema. C. Heart disease. D. Lung cancer. So when bronchi or when the bronchus are the one that are affected, the condition will be called bronchitis. Now, since we are told, according to the question, that walls of ovule are the ones affected, so therefore, the condition we are going to call the condition emphysema, emphysema, or in, emphysema, emphysema, or emphysema. So our correct answer, therefore, is B. So our correct answer is B. So heart disease refer to any problem affecting the heart, such as coronary artery disease, arrhythmia, and heart failure. Okay, we shift to the next question, which is the question 18. Question 18, the apparatus below demonstrates the process of respiration. What happens to the lime water in X and Y? What happens to the lime water in X and Y? So we can see the direction of air. Here we have soda lime. Here we have soda lime. Here we have lime water. Soda lime. We have lime water. So The soda lime is here to trap the carbon dioxide found in the air. We know that air is the combination of different gases. So within the air there is carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide will be trapped by soda lime. So soda lime, we can also call soda lime sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide. So the air that will pass through lime water will have no carbon dioxide. And we know that carbon dioxide is capable of turning lime water milk. Carbon dioxide turns lime water milk. By the way, soda lime contains uh, uh, sodium sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide and calcium oxide. So carbon dioxide is capable of turning lime water milk. So since here there is the air passing through this lime water in flask X has no carbon dioxide, the lime water will remain the same. Nothing will change. Then we are told that here respiration is taking place. And one of the products of respiration is carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide will pass through this tube and it will pass through lime water. And this carbon dioxide will turn the lime water milk or cloud. So therefore, our correct answer is C. Our correct answer is C. We shift to the next question, which is the question. Okay, so you are free to pause the video uh, and study the notes given on the screen. Okay, we shift to question 19. Question 19, the question reads, which conditions are necessary for germination of most seeds? So the first column we have light, oxygen, and water. So which conditions are necessary? Here are the conditions necessary for seed germination. We have water, oxygen, temperature, and light. So these are conditions necessary. So therefore, our correct answer is C. Our correct answer is C. We shift to the next question, which is question 20. Question 20, the question reads, the diagram shows a simple dialysis machine. We have the dialysis machine here. The substance in the blood at X, which should not be found in blood at Y, is A. Amino acids, B. Fat acids, C. Glucose, D. Urea. Okay, so we are using the dialysis machine so that we can remove unwanted substances from the blood vessel. So we can see that amino acids, these are useful nutrients. Fat acids, these are useful nutrients. Glucose, these are useful nutrients. So there is no urea in dialysis fluid so that concentration gradient can be created. This makes urea to move from the blood into the fluid. So the substance we are talking about is urea. So we want to get rid of urea. Question 21, the question reads, which of the following is excreted by plants only? A. Alkaloids. B. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide can be excreted by animals also. Excess salt can be excreted by animals also. Urea can be excreted by animals also. So the waste that can be excreted by plants only are alkaloids. So therefore, our correct answer is A. Our correct answer is A. We shift to the next question, which is question 22. Question 22, the question reads, when a person is cold, nerve impulses from the hypothalamus cause the skin to reduce the rate of heat loss. What is the effect of these nerve impulses on the hair erector muscle? and the arterioles near the skin surface. Hair erector muscle, arterioles near skin surface. A. Contract. Okay, so before we answer this question, let us make use of the information. So when it is cold, the arterioles dilate, hair erector muscles relax, and hairs lie flat. The sweats circulate on the skin. When the day is cold, the arterioles constrict, hair erector muscles contract, and hairs stand up. No sweat is produced. So therefore, our correct answer is A. Hair erector muscles will contract. Then arterioles will constrict so that less blood can run or flow under the skin surface to avoid the loss of heat. We move on to the next question, which is question 23. Question 23, the question reads, the diagram shows a shoot which has been placed horizontally. The shoot begins to grow upwards. What causes the shoot to grow upwards? A. Increased cell division by meiosis at P. B. Increased cell division by mitosis at P. C. More cell elongation at P than at Q. D. More cell elongation at Q than at P. So our correct answer is, before we answer the question, we need to understand that auxin is a hormone responsible for growth in plants. So therefore, our correct answer is A. So more cell elongation at P than at Q is what causing the shoot to grow upward. Is what causing the shoot to grow upward. We move on to question 24. Question 24, the question reads, the diagram shows the structure involved in a reflex action. The correct sequence of an impulse through these structures is, so they want us to give the correct route or passage used by the electrical impulses. So electrical impulses will start moving from the effector, from the receptor. Will start moving from the receptor. The first passage they will use is sensory neuron. Sensory neuron, then the impulses will be interconnected by the intermediate neuron or relay neuron. Then they'll be passed on to the motor neuron. Then motor neuron will bring the impulses to the effector. So therefore, our correct answer is D. Our correct answer is D. We shift to question 25. Question 25, the question reads, the diagram below shows a cross section through the brain. Which part is the center for processes such as thought, brain, and judgment? So thought, brain, and judgment takes place in the cerebellum. Takes place on the cerebellum, not on the cerebellum, but on the cerebellum. So our correct answer is A. So thoughts, memory, and judgment are executed by cerebellum. We shift to question 26. Question 26, the question reads, which of the following shows the appearance of the iris and the pupil of the eye when viewing an object in dim light? So when viewing an object in bright light, the pupil will constrict. Okay, the pupil will constrict. Then the iris will dilate. When viewing the object, in dim light, the pupil will constrict. Then the pupil will dilate, the iris will constrict. So what will happen to radial muscles and circular muscles? So when viewing the object in the dim light, the radial muscles will contract, then the circular muscle will relax. When viewing the object in the bright light, the circular muscles will contract, then the radial muscles will relax. So this process will help to view the object in dim light. So therefore, the circular muscles in dim light, the circular muscles in dim light. Let me go back to the question. So we can see the circular muscles in dim light have contracted. Here is the dim light. The circular muscles in dim light are relaxed. So here we are going to consider these two answers. The circular muscles in dim light should be relaxed, okay, or they should relax. So which one is our correct answer? So we are from saying in the dim light, the pupil would dilate. The pupil would dilate. So we can see here, this one is showing the pupil dilated. Then the iris is constricted. The iris is constricted. So therefore, our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. We shift to question 27. Question 27, the question reads, which two bones form the ball and the socket joint of the shoulder? A. Femur and pelvic girdle. B. Femur and tibia. C. Humerus and scapula. D. Ulna and humerus. So the one that forms the ball and socket joint is the one that forms the bucket, the ball and socket joint is humerus and the scapula, okay, or shoulder blade. So shoulder blade and the scapula are the ones that makes ball and socket joint. So therefore, our correct answer is C. Our correct answer is C. We shift to the next question, which is question 28. Question 28, the question reads, the diagram below shows a vertebra. To which region of the vertebra column does it belong? A. Cervical. B. Lumbar. C. Thoracic. D. Sacral. Okay, so we have thoracic here, thoracic vertebra. We have lumbar vertebra. We also have this one. Which is cervical vertebra. So this one that has been given is thoracic vertebra. Thoracic vertebra, which is here. Thoracic vertebra, which is here. So we can see that it has three parts. This one and this one. We can also see these two parts, and we can see the hole here. So our correct answer therefore is thoracic. Okay, we shift to the next question, which is question 29. Question 29, the question reads, the diagram shows Irish potatoes in natural vegetative propagation. What type of vegetative organ is shown? A. Bulb. B. Comb. C. Root tuber. D. Stem tuber. So Irish potato is an example of a stem tuber. So here we are simply talking about the stem tube. We are talking about the stem tube. Our correct answer is D. Our correct answer is D. We shift to the next question, which is question 30. Question 30, the question reads, what type of seed dispersal is shown in the diagram? A. Animal dispersal. D. Self-dispersal. C. Water dispersal. D. Wind dispersal. So we can see that this one is showing self-dispersal. So self-dispersal is the type of dispersal or spreading of seeds happens by the plant itself without external help or without external disturbances. So we have the diagram here illustrating the self-dispersal. So the type of the dispersal shown here is self-dispersal. So therefore, our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. We shift to question 31. Question 31, the question reads, the diagram shows the female reproductive system. We are given the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. In which numbered parts does ovulation, fertilization, and implantation occur? So the first column we have ovulation, the second column we have fertilization, the third column we have implantation. So ovulation takes place in the ovaries. So ovulation is the process of releasing eggs or ovum. So ovulation takes place by the ovaries. The ovaries are the one that performs the role of ovulation. Then fertilization takes place in the oviduct or fallopian tube. So in the oviduct or fallopian tube, that is where an egg meets with the sperm cell to form the zygote. Then implantation takes place on the uterus. Implantation takes place on the uterus. So we have seen that ovulation takes place on the ovaries. Fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube. Implantation takes place on the uterus. So therefore, our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. Ovulation 2. Ovulation 2. Ovaries 2 is representing ovaries. Fertilization is represented by fallopian tube is represented by 1. So ovulation, fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube. Implantation takes place uh, implantation takes place on the uterus, and the uterus is being represented by 3. We shift to the next question. We shift to the next question, which is question 32. Question 32, the question reads, which of the following is a hormonal and which one is a mechanical method of contraception? So the first column we have hormonal, the second column we have mechanical. So hormonal, this one is talking about the birth control method that involves hormone. Then the mechanical is talking about birth control method that involves a mechanical method or physical method. So the one that disturbs the normal functioning of the hormones are contraceptive pills. So contraceptive pills are the ones that disturb the normal functioning of the hormones. Then the intrauterine device prevents the sperm from penetrating through the vagina or through the fallopian tube physically or mechanically. So therefore we are going to say contraceptive pills disturb the normal functioning of the reproductive organs. Intrauterine device physically prevents sperms from penetrating into fallopian tube. So therefore, our correct answer, the one that is hormonal, is pill. Then mechanical intrauterine device. Our correct answer therefore is D. We shift to the next question, which is question 33. Question 33, the question reads, how is Bilharzia contracted? How is Bilharzia contracted? So Bilharzia is contracted, or the pathogen that cause Bilharzia is schistosoma. So schistosoma is the pathogen that causes Bilharzia, and it is found in contaminated water. So this one is transmitted or is contacted when is contacted through uh, contaminated water, through contaminated water. So the schistosoma enter the body when a person is swimming, washing, or paddling in contaminated water. So therefore, our correct answer is C, swimming in contaminated water. We shift to the next question, which is question 34. Question 34, BCG vaccination against tuberculosis is an example of A, artificial active immunity, B, natural active immunity, C, natural immunity, D, natural passive immunity. Okay, so we are going to look at the types of immunity. So there are two types of immunity, active immunity and passive immunity. So active immunity develops in response to an infection or vaccination. Passive immunity develops after you receive antibodies from someone or somewhere else. Then the active immunity is further categorized into two. There is natural active immunity and artificial active immunity. So natural active immunity are antibodies developed in response to an infection. Then the artificial active immunity, antibodies developed in response to vaccination. Antibodies developed in response to vaccination. We also have passive immunity uh, uh, divided or categorized into two, natural and artificial. So our major interest is here, antibodies developed in response to vaccination. So therefore, the type of response we are talking about, since we are talking about vaccination against tuberculosis, so the type of immunity we are talking about here, or example of the immunity we are talking about here, is artificial active immunity. Artificial active immunity. So therefore, our correct answer is A. Our correct answer is A. We shift to the next question, which is question 35. Question 35, the question reads, the diagram below shows a food chain. The glass receives 10,000 kilojoules of energy from the sun. We can see the glass. We can see the grasshopper. We can see the grasshopper. We can see. We can see the snake. We can see the work. How much energy would the work receive after eating the snake? So we need to understand that out of the energy the grass is receiving from the sun, only 10% of that energy is passed on to the next next uh, organism or to the next trophic level. So the 10% of 10,000, the 10% of 10,000 is 1,000. So we are going to do some simple calculations here. We are going to say 10%, 10% of 10% of 10,000 uh, of 10% of 10,000 kilojoules, we are going to have 1,000. we are going to have 1000. Okay, so the energy that will be passed on to the next trophic level is 1000. So here we are going to have 1000. Here we are going to have 1000. Again, we are going to find the 10% of 1000. So the 10%, the 10% of 1000, the 10% of 1000 is, the 10% of 1000 is 100. The 10% of 1000 is 100. Okay, is 100. So here we are going to have 100. Here we are going to have 100. So 100 kilojoules will be passed on to the snake. Then 10 kilojoules will be passed on to the work. Okay, so we have seen that initially we had 10,000, we had 10,000 kilojoules, 10,000 kilojoules. So only 1,000 is passed on to the next trophic level. Then and this 1,000 is 10%, and only 100 is passed on to the next trophic level, and this 100 is the 10% of 1,000, and only 10 is passed on to the next trophic level, and this 10%, and this 10 is the 10% of 100. So here 9,000 kilojoules, 9,000 kilojoules is lost. Even here 900 kilojoules is lost. Here 90 joules is lost. Only 10% is being passed on to the next trophic level. So therefore our correct answer is 10 kilojoules. 10 kilojoules. So you can also make use of the pyramid of energy given here. You can pause the video and consider the pyramid given here. So therefore our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. We shift to the next question, which is question 36. Question 36, the question reads, the diagram shows the carbon cycle. What processes are represented by P and Q? So let us identify P. Where is P? P is here. So we can see that plant is producing carbon dioxide. So this process is called respiration. Then Q, we can see that carbon dioxide is entering the plant, and this process is called photosynthesis. So therefore, P is representing respiration. Q is representing photosynthesis. Our correct answer, therefore, is D. Our correct answer is D. We shift to question 37. Question 37, the question reads, which of the following effects of man on the ecosystem is reduced by proper treatment of soil? A, acid rain. B, death of fish due to lack of oxygen. C, increase in carbon dioxide in atmosphere. D, lack of soil nutrition. So careless discharge of solid into water will lead to depletion of carbon dioxide, and depletion of carbon dioxide will lead to death of aquatic lives in the water. So therefore, proper management or proper treatment of sewage will reduce the death of fish in the death of aquatic lives in the fish. So therefore, our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. We shift to the next question, which is question 38. Question 38, the question reads, which of the following human features is an example of a continuous variation? A, blood group. B, foot size. C, sex. D, type of teeth. So continuous variation shows a wide range of possibility. Okay. Then a discontinuous variation shows a limited chances of something happening, or the limited possibility. So for example, we only have 4 types of blood groups. We only have 4 types of blood groups. We only have 4 types of teeth. 4 types of teeth. And we have 2 types of sexes, female or male. But for foot size, 100 people can have different foot size. So we can see that the foot size is showing a wide range of possibility of something happening. So therefore, our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. A is an example of a discontinuous variation. C is an example of a discontinuous variation. D is an example of a discontinuous variation. Foot size is an example of a continuous variation. Okay, is an example of a continuous variation. We shift to question 39. Question 39, the question reads, the diagram shows a family tree of 2 parents, both of blood group A. What are the genotypes of person 1, 2, and 5? What are the genotypes of persons 1, 2, and 5? Okay, the alleles IA, IB, and IO are not present on the sex chromosomes. Their inheritance is dependent on the sex of the individual. Hence, they are not sex linked. So we need to understand that IA and IB, these are not sex linked traits. These are not sex linked traits. Then the question is saying, what are the genotypes of 1? Genotypes of 1, 2, and 5. So the shaded, here we have the shaded circle represent female with blood group O. The shaded triangle, so the shaded rectangle represent a male with blood group O. So we have seen that here we have parents. We have 2 parents. We have this parent and we have this one. Therefore, the blood groups of these parents to produce an offspring with a blood group O. With blood group O, with blood group O is, so here we have 2 possible answers. C can be our correct answer, even D. So let us illustrate what we are talking about here. Let us illustrate. We illustrate what we are simply talking about. So there was a mistake when constructing this question. Here we're supposed to have 5. Here we're supposed to have 5 here. Okay. So the question has been asked, what are the genotypes of a person's 1, 2, and 5? Okay. So let us illustrate what we are simply talking about. So you are free to pause the video and assimilate or understand the information here. So we have the genotype and we have the phenotype. So the genotype, these are genetic makeup. The phenotype, these are something that we can see with our naked eyes. These are something that we can see with our naked eyes. So our correct answer is according to according to the number given here, which is 5. Our correct answer is D. Our correct answer is D. This one being, so for argument's sake, let us use 3. So we are going to use 3 instead of using 5. We are going to use 3. Okay. So if we do closings, we have blood group heterozygous blood group A, and we also have heterozygous blood group A. So if we close this one and this one, we are going to have blood group A. So blood group O is recessive. It is overshadowed. If we close this one and this one, sorry, this one is A. So we are going to have A. We are going to have A O E. We close this one and this one, we are going to have blood group A. We close this one and this one, we are going to have blood group O. We are going to have blood group O. So we can easily see that there are chances of having the offspring with blood group O. So in this case, blood group O is this one. Okay, blood group O is this one. So we shift to the last question, our last question, which is question 40. Question 40, the question reads, a person with Down syndrome is born with 47 chromosomes in each of his or her cells instead of 46. What could cause this? A mutation happened during the production of the ovum. B, more than one sperm fused with the ovum at fertilization. C, rejection caused a change in the structure of gene in the mother's sperm. D, the mother was exposed to harmful chemicals while she was pregnant. So the one that will cause chromosomal mutation is the one that will cause Down syndrome. So Down syndrome will be caused by mutation. So mutation causes Down syndrome. So in this video, we are going to, by the way, we are done with this paper. We are done with this. We now shift to biology paper 2, theory 2022, and the paper was written by GCE candidates. Okay, we are from solving biology paper 1, 2015. We now shift to biology paper 2, 2022. Question 1. Before I start, let me read the instructions. Answer all the questions in the spaces provided on the question paper. So section A is carrying 44 marks. Question 1, the question reads, figure 1 shows cell division in animal cells. So we can see the zygote, we can see cell A and B, and we can see muscle cell, and we can see new cells here. Question A, Roman numeral 1, states the characteristic of living organisms being demonstrated in figure 1. So there are 7 characteristics of all living organisms: respiration, sensitivity, nutrition, excretion, reproduction, growth, and movement. So these are 7 characteristics of all living organisms. So the characteristic being shown here is growth. So this is not a reproduction. Reproduction has already taken place. We can see a zygote here, so reproduction has already taken place. So initially we had a zygote, we can see 2 cells we can see 3 cells. So growth is taking place here. So the characteristic being shown is growth. So our correct answer is growth. The next question, which is question A, Roman numeral 2, explain what has happened to cell A. So cell A here are muscle cell. So muscle cell is a specialized cell. So what do we mean when we say a specialized cell? It has its specific function. So muscle cell uh, take part in the movement. Okay, it also uh, enhance movement, or it spearhead the movement. So A has become specialized, okay, or A has become a specialized cell. A has become a specialized cell. So we can see specialization of cells here. We have different specialized cells. We can see red blood cells. We can see ciliated muscles. We can see bone tissues. These are specialized cells. So therefore, we are going to say cell A has become specialized, or we can say cell A has become a specialized cell. We shift to B. Explain how the zygote in figure 1 can result in the formation of an organism through cell division. So to answer this question, we need to consider cell organization level. So a cell is made up of different organelles such as mitochondria, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum. All these are organelles making up a cell. And a grouping of cells make a tissue. Grouping of similar tissue makes an organ. When we combine or we group the organs together, we are going to form the system. When we combine the systems, we are going to form the whole organism. Okay, so these are levels of organization. You are free to pause the video and assimilate the information given. Okay, you are free to pause the video. So we can see cell organization levels here: organelle, cell, tissue, organ system, and the organism. So therefore, we are going to say after cell division, a group of specialized cells is formed called tissues. A group of tissues is called organ. Organs form system, and system form an organism. So we can see the question is carrying 3 marks, and we have provided the information that is equivalent to 3 marks. We shift to the last part of question 1. The last part of question 1, the question leads, which is C. Describe 2 life processes of living organisms and state the role of enzymes in the 2 processes. Describe life processes of living organisms and state the role of enzymes in the 2 processes. Okay, so the 2 processes that we are going to look at, we are going to look at catabolism. So catabolism involves breaking down of complex molecules into simple ones. Breaking down of complex molecules into simple ones. Then we are also going to look at anabolism. Anabolism involves building of simple molecules into a complex one. So the function of the enzyme is to speed up the rate of these 2 processes, the anabolism and the catabolism. So therefore, we are going to say anabolism is the building of a molecule, complex molecules from simple ones. And the function of the enzyme is to speed up the the rate of chemical, the rate of this reaction. Sorry. So the role of the enzyme is the role of enzyme is not stated. Okay, the role of enzyme is not stated. Nevertheless, you can write somewhere. So the role of the enzyme in these processes is to speed up the rate of the action. Then catabolism is the breaking down of complex molecule into simple molecule. So even this reaction needs enzyme in order to be fast. Okay, so in this case, the role of the enzyme is to speed up the rate of these two reactions, or the rate of these two uh, processes. We are done with the first question. Now let us move on to the next question, which is question 2. Question 2, the question reads, Figure 2 shows the transverse section of a leaf. The transverse section of the leaf. Question 2a, Roman numeral 1, identify tissue X, Y, and Q. So tissue X, this one is the upper epidermis. Then this one is showing palisade mesophyll. This one is showing palisade mesophyll. Showing palisade mesophyll. So therefore, X is representing upper epidermis. Y is representing palisade mesophyll. Q is representing phloem tissue. So we can see phloem tissue here. We have the phloem tissue. So Q Q is representing phloem tissue. Phloem tissue. So the question is carrying 3 marks. We can see that we have answered this question. Now let us move on to the next question. We move on to the next question, which is the Roman numeral 2. Tissue X and Y were tested for starch. Which of the two tissues show the presence of high concentration of starch? So the one that will show the presence of high concentration of starch is Y, palisade tissue. Palisade tissue. This one being it has high concentration of mitochondria, and mitochondria plays a vital role in the process of photosynthesis. And we know that process of photosynthesis is the one that is leading to production of starch. So therefore, our correct answer, before we write our correct answer, palisade cells contains the largest number of chloroplasts, which makes them the primary site of photosynthesis in the leaves. So therefore, we are going to say tissue Y. So tissue Y has a high concentration of chloroplast. Roman numeral 3, give an explanation for the answer given in A, Roman numeral 2. Now they want us to explain why we have chosen tissue X. So the reason that we are going to give, we are going to say tissue Y has high concentration of chloroplast that are responsible for the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so we have given the reason. It is because of the high concentration of chloroplast. We shift to question 2b. Question 2b, the question leads. Question 2b, Roman numeral 1. Name the cell labeled R in figure 2. Name the cell labeled R in figure 2. So the cell labeled R. So this one is a guard cell. This one is a guard cell. Why are we saying this one is a guard cell? because it is near stoma or it is near stomata. So our correct answer is guard cell. We shift to question 2b, Roman numeral 2. Which features does cell R have in common with the tissue X and Y that enables it to perform its function? So we have seen that the common feature is vacuole. So we can see vacuole in a guard cell. We can also see vacuole. We can also see vacuole in a palisade tissue. We can also see vacuole in the upper epidermis. So vacuole is the feature that is common in these three tissues or these three cells. We now shift to the next question, which is question 3. Question 3, the question reads, Figure 3 represents bones of a forelimb of a mammal. Question 3a, Roman numeral. Question 3a, which letters correspond to the following structure? Roman numeral 1, radius. Roman numeral 2, ulna. Roman numeral 3, humerus. So we have humerus, which is here. So humerus is found here. Radius is found here. Ulna is found here. So therefore, between the hinge joint, we have humerus and ulna. We have humerus and ulna. So H, this one is H is representing radius. Then K is representing ulna. I is representing humerus. I is representing humerus. And we have the hinge joint here. Question 3b, Roman numeral 1. Identify the type of joint found at J. Identify the type of joint found at J. So we are from looking at this joint, and we said the joint between the humerus and ulna is called the hinge joint. So therefore, the joint between the J joint is hinge joint. Hinge joint. So we can see hinge joint. So hinge joint is also called elbow joint. So therefore, our correct answer on question 3b, Roman numeral 1, is hinge joint. We shift to the next question, which is question 3b, Roman numeral 2. Give a reason for your answer. Give a reason for your answer. So ball and socket joints are the most mobile of all the are the most mobile of all the synovial joints. They allow the bone with the ball edge to be moved freely in all planes, while hinge joint allow restricted movement in only one plane only. So a hinge joint allows movement in one dimension or in one axis only or in one plane only. So the reason that we are going to give, we are going to say it allow movement in one dimension or one axis. Or we can say this joint is found, this joint is also found between the humerus and ulna, but that is not a major reason they are looking for. So the major reason they are looking for is this one. Hinge joint allows movement in one axis or in one dimension or in one direction. The next question, which is question C, name two disorders of the joint at J. Name two disorders of the joint at J. So the two disorders of the joint at J, or the two disorders of the end joint, is dislocation and arthritis. Dislocation and arthritis. So dislocation involves, or dislocation, we can see that the the bone has moved out of its original position. So this is the original position, and we can see that it has moved out of its original location or original position, thereby causing dislocation. And the arthritis. So there are a number of arthritis. So we have two types of arthritis: osteoarthritis or osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. So generally we are going to say the the disorders the disorders the disorders of the joint J, we are going to say dislocation and arthritis. Dislocation and arthritis. So the question is carrying 2 marks, and we have provided two disorders. We have provided, or we have written, two disorders. The next question, which is question 3D. Question 3D, the question reads, explain why a bone is considered to be a living tissue. So a bone is considered to be a living tissue because it has cells, blood vessels, and we know that function of blood vessels is to supply uh, oxygen and nutrients. So therefore, we are going to say bones have their own blood capillaries, cells, proteins, mineral salts, vitamins. So these structures help them to grow, transform, and repair. So because of these structures, or because of these substances, they help the bones to grow, transform, and repair. So for this reason, bones are considered to be living tissues. This one being, they are able to grow, they can transform, and they can repair because of the presence of blood capillaries, okay, or blood vessels supplying them with the nutrients and oxygen. And we have proteins and mineral salts. So all these substances helps them to grow, transform, and repair. Hence, they are considered to be living tissues. We now shift to the next question, which is question 4. Question 4, the question reads, figure 4 shows a schematic diagram indicating the movement of water in a plant from the roots to the leaves. So this one is showing the movement of water in a plant from the roots to the leaves. Question 4A, Roman numeral 1. Name the part labeled P. Name the part labeled P. So the part labeled P is a root hair cell. Is a root hair cell. So therefore, we are going to say root hair cell. We shift to Roman numeral 2. Identify substance O. Identify substance O. So here we have a stoma, the singular term for stomata, stoma, and we can see that this substance is coming from the from the from the from the hole given. So the substance that is coming out of the stomata, since the question is talking about water, is the water vapor. So substance O is water vapor. So water vapor is lost through stomata. Water vapor is lost through stomata. Okay, so we are going to say water vapor. The next question, which is question 4A, Roman numeral 3. What name is given to the space through which substance O comes out of the leaf? So the space is called stomata or stoma, singular, stomata, plural. So since we are given one hole, we are going to call it stoma. So the hole given is stoma. The hole given is stoma. We shift to the next question, which is question B. Question B, the question reads, state the terms used to refer to the processes responsible for the movement of water at the points L and M. So we have L and we have M. We have L and we have M. So at L, water will move by osmosis. Water will move by osmosis. So osmosis is the movement of water molecules from the region of high concentration to the region of low concentration across semi-permeable membrane. So here water is moved by osmosis. So our correct answer here is the osmosis. We also consider M. Here water is moved by transpiration. Water is moved by transpiration pool. So transpiration is the one that is creating transpiration pool or suction force. So our correct answer is suction force or transpiration pool. We move on to the next question, which is question C. Question C, the question reads, give 2 reasons why it is beneficial for a plant to lose water at point O. So why is it important for plants to lose water vapor through stomata? So it is important for plants to lose stomata so that plants can cool down. Okay. And the loss of water through the point O also helps to create the suction force and the transpiration pool. So therefore we are going to say ensuring the cooling of plants during hot days. We are also going to say create transpiration pool or suction force. So suction force is the process or the pull that helps water to be pulled up the plant up to the leaves. Okay. The next question, which is the question which is question D. Apart from the xylem vessel, name another vessel found in the stem used for transport. So apart from vessel, they want us to name another vessel found in the stem used for transport. So another vessel used for transport is phloem vessel. So phloem vessel is used to transport manufactured nutrients such as amino acids, sucrose. So these manufactured nutrients are transported by the blood by the phloem vessel. So therefore we are going to say phloem. We now move on to the next question, which is question 5A. Question 5A, the question reads, define each of the following terms. 5A, Roman numeral 1, a gene. So a gene is a basic unit of inheritance from the parents to the child. So we are going to say it is the basic unit of inheritance passed from the parents to the child. A, Roman numeral 2, the genotype. So genotype is the genetic makeup. Genotype is the genetic makeup. or genotype is something that we cannot see. So to understand genotype properly, we are going to compare genotype and the phenotype. So the genotype is an organism's genetic information, while phenotype is the set of observable physical traits. So phenotype is something that we can see with our naked eyes. Genotype is a genetic makeup that we cannot see easily unless we do some proper assessment. So therefore, we are going to say it is the genetic makeup of an organism. It is the genetic makeup of an organism. We shift to the next question, which is question 5b. Question 5b, the question reads, in a family of rats, the recessive allele, small letter d, causes stunted growth if it occurs in a homozygous animal. Use a genetic diagram to predict the offspring produced if two heterozygous rats were mated. So the first thing that we need to do is to understand heterozygous. So before we understand heterozygous, we need to understand that homozygous means having same alleles. Okay, so as we can see, we have same alleles. We have two capital letter B's. Then hetero means difference, or heterozygous dominant shows different having different alleles. Okay, according to question according to question 5b, we are asked to do some genetic diagram or some genetic crossings to predict the offspring if two heterozygous rats were mated. So what are we going to do? Since we are told according to our question that small letter d represents stunted growth or represent recessiveness, we are going to let capital letter D to represent normal growth, then small letter d to represent recessiveness. So we also have this parent here. Then we are going to do crossings. We cross this one and this one. We are going to produce an offspring with the normal growth. We cross this one and this one. We are going to produce an offspring with the normal growth. But this one is a carrier of this stunted allele. Okay, so as we can see, we have a stunted allele here. So we cross this one and this one. We are also going to produce heterozygous dominant. We are going to produce the offspring with the normal offspring, but this one also is a carrier. We cross this one and this one. We are going to produce an offspring with the stunted growth. So we have seen that three of the offspring produced have normal growth, but this one has stunted growth. Okay, this one has stunted growth. So as we can see, the question is carrying 5 marks. Therefore, there is need for us to provide the information that is equivalent to 5 marks. So we are going to include each and every detail. So we are going to start with the parental phenotype, parental genotype, gametes, first filia offspring generation genotype, first filia offspring, first filia generation offspring phenotype. Then we are going to see the type of growth of the offspring that we are going to produce. Okay, so we have included each and every detail: parental phenotype, parental genotype, gametes, F1 offspring genotype, F1 offspring phenotype. Okay, so we close this one and this one. We can see an offspring with the normal growth. We close this one and this one. We can see an offspring with the normal growth, but this one is a carrier. We cross this one and this one. We have also produced this offspring, and this one is a carrier. We close this one and this one. We have seen that we have produced an offspring with the stunted growth. So we have seen that 3 of the offspring produced are normal, then 1 is stunted. So we can easily say 75% of the offsprings produced are normal, then 25% are not normal. Okay, we now move on to the next section. Which is a which is section B. Section B, answer any 3 questions from this section. All answers must be in complete sentences and paragraphs. Write your answers in the separate answer booklet provided. So from this section, we are expected to answer 3 questions. Since we are revising this first paper, we are going to answer all 5 questions from this section. Question 6a, the question reads, what is meant by good healthy? The question is carrying 5 marks, 4 marks. So there is need for us to provide the information that is equivalent to 4 marks. Okay. So according to our syllabus and according to our World Health Organization, good health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease. So having good health doesn't mean you won't succumb to minor diseases. So for example, having good health doesn't mean you won't succumb to flu. Okay, having good health doesn't mean you won't succumb to cough. Okay. On the other hand, good health can be attained through having balanced diet. So some nutrients helps to boost our immune system. Okay, helps to boost our immune system, and a balanced diet helps prevent us from having deficient diseases. So deficient diseases, these are diseases coming as a result of us lacking some nutrients. Okay, so having a balanced diet will help us to run away from deficient diseases. Good health is also accompanied by having a stress-free life. Okay, a stress-free life also helps to attain good health. We move on to the next question, which is question 6b. Question 6b, the question reads, with named examples, explain the following types of diseases. So here we are expected to explain and give examples. So the question, we have Roman numeral 1, genetic diseases, Roman numeral 2, social diseases, and the question is carrying 4 marks. So each one of these 2 is carrying 2 marks. So we need to provide the information that is equivalent to 2 marks on question 6b, Roman numeral 1. So we are going to start with the genetic diseases. Genetic diseases. So genetic diseases are diseases passed on from the parents to the child. So these are types of diseases we inherit from our parents. So therefore, we are going to say genetic diseases are diseases that are inherited from parents to offspring. For example, sickle cell anemia is an example of inherited disease. Albinism is an example of inherited condition. So we are also going to look at social disease. So social disease, these are diseases contacted or acquired through interaction or through social means. So for example, flu can be a social disease. It can be acquired through interaction. Okay. HIV and AIDS, it can be a social disease. It can be acquired through social means, through sexual intercourse. So sexual intercourse in this case is one of the social means of acquiring this type of a disease. So therefore, we are going to say genetic disease, I mean social diseases are diseases that are acquired through interaction or social means. Sexual transmission infections, STIs through sexual intercourse, are examples of social diseases. Okay. Emphysema or bronchitis. Emphysema, bronchitis. So the causes of these diseases are cigarette uh, smoke. So cigarette smoke is the causes of emphysema and bronchitis. So the cigarette smoke may be acquired, or someone may start smoking because of the social interaction. So emphysema and bronchitis can be a social disease. We shift to the next question, which is the question 6C. Describe the cause, signs, and symptoms of Bilharzia. The question is carrying 4 marks, and it has been divided into 2 parts. So the first part of the question is saying describe the cause. Then the second part of the question, signs and symptoms. So the causes of Bilharzia is the pathogen that causes Bilharzia is schistosoma. So schistosoma is the pathogen that causes Bilharzia. So someone can come into contact with this pathogen through swimming in contaminated water. Okay, so therefore we are going to say Bilharzia is caused by the pathogen called schistosoma found in contaminated water. It is transmitted, for example, when paddling, swimming, or ocean. The following are signs and symptoms: blood, diarrhea, or blood in the stools, or blood in the fecal matter, or urine, or blood found in the urine. These are signs and symptoms: coughing, abdominal pain, fever, headaches, rashes, and body aches. So these are some of the symptoms and signs of Bilharzia. So the first part of the question is carrying 2 marks. The second part of the question is also carrying 2 marks. Now let us move on to the next question, which is question 7. Question 7, the question reads, outline the functions of the different parts of the flower. Outline the functions of the different parts of the flower. The question is carrying 8 marks. So before we outline the function, let us identify the parts of the flower. We can see stamen, we can see anther, we can see petals, we can see sepal, we can see septacle, we can see stigma, we can see star, we can see ovary. So these are some of the parts of the flower. Now let us give the function. The question is carrying 8 marks. As we can see, we have provided the information that is equivalent to 8 marks. So the following are functions of different parts of the flower. Petal, colorful part of the flower used to attract insects and birds. So the petal helps to attract insects and birds. So these insects plays a pivotal role in the process of pollination. Sepal protects the bud of young flower. Pistil. Pistil is the female reproductive part of the flower, taking part in the production. Stigma. Stick pollen receptive part of the pistils. So stigma is the one that receives pollen. The one that is called pollen receptive part of the pistil. Style. The stalk of the pistil down in which the pollen tube grows. ovary contains the ovules and becomes the fruit. Ovule becomes the seed. So we have seen the function of each and every part of the flower. Okay, so maybe there are some parts are not included here, but the information provided is enough for 8 marks given. Let us move on to the next question, which is question 7b. Question 7b, the question reads, describe the characteristic of wind dispersed seeds or fruits. The question is carrying 4 marks. So they want us to describe the features or characteristics possessed by these fruits or seeds for them to undergo wind dispersal. So here we have seeds and fruits participating in wind dispersal, and we can see some of the features or characteristics possessed by these seeds or fruits. So wind dispersed seeds or fruits are lightweight. So the wind seeds or fruits have light weight. So in short, they have so this is our first characteristic, light weight. So these seeds are not heavy so that they can undergo wind dispersal. The next one, wing like appendages, wing or wing like appendages. So they have wing like appendages. So these wings like helps them to fly in the atmosphere that allow them to be carried by the wind. Some of the parachute. So we know the nature of the parachute. Some of the parachute like structure. So parachute like structure to keep them afloat. Some fruits such as the dandelion have hairy weighted structures that are suited to dispersal by wind. So these are some of the characteristics or features or adaptations making these seeds or fruits to carry out wind dispersal. We shift to the next question, which is question 8. Question 8, the question reads, explain the meaning of the term sexual harassment. Explain the meaning of the term sexual harassment. So the question is carrying 2 marks. Harassment. So harassment is unwelcome behavior, and this behavior is of sexual nature. Unwelcome behavior. Unwelcome behavior. Okay, so we are going to say sexual harassment is unwelcome behavior of the sexual nature. Sexual harassment includes unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical harassment of sexual nature. So the question is carrying 2 marks, and the answer given is enough for the 2 marks. The next question, describe ways of resisting sexual harassment. How can we resist sexual harassment? So sexual harassment can be resisted by confronting your ELASA and letting them know that their comments or actions are not welcome and they need to avoid explicit dressing. Okay. The next question, explain appropriate source of help. Where can we seek help on sexual harassment? So we can seek help from victim support. So the appropriate source of help on sexual harassment matters include reporting to possible adults in society, the police, and the victim support unit. So these are some of the sources of help uh, where we can seek help, or the sources of help on sexual harassment. We shift to question 9. Question 9, what is meant by the term hormone? what is meant by the term hormone? So, hormone is a chemical synthesized and produced by the specialized glands to control and regulate the activity of certain cells and organs. Question 9b. Describe the effect of underproduction of the following hormones in humans. Insulin, B, thyroxine. The question is carrying 9 marks. So each one of the hormones given here is carrying 4.5 marks. 4.5 marks. Okay, so let us start with the insulin. So underproduction means low production. So what can low production? What are the effects of low production of insulin? So first and foremost, we need to know the function of the insulin. So the function of the insulin is to regulate the blood sugar levels in the body. Insulin also helps blood to move from the glucose or sugar to move from the blood vessel to the cells. So when there is too much sugar or when there is too much glucose in the body, insulin will spearhead uh, the conversion of excess glucose to glycogen, and this prevent diabetes mellitus. So if there is low production of the insulin, someone is prone to have diabetes mellitus. So the function of the insulin is to control glucose levels in our bodies by converting excess glucose to glycogen and move glucose from blood vessel to cells. Therefore, underproduction or low production of the hormone insulin will lead to higher glucose levels in the blood. And this condition is called diabetes mellitus. Signs and symptoms include thirst, loss of sensation in some parts, and loss of weight. So we have seen some effect of underproduction of the hormones of the given hormone, which is an insulin. Okay, we shift to the next question, which is the thyroxine. So what are the effects of low production of thyroxine or underproduction of thyroxine? So first we need to know the function of thyroxine. So thyroxine helps. So lack of thyroxine will lead to cretinism. So thyroxine is the main hormone secreted in the bloodstream by the thyroid gland. Thyroxine hormone is secreted by thyroid gland. It plays a vital role in metabolism, heart and muscle function, brain development, and maintenance of bones. Therefore, underproduction of the thyroxine will lead to cretinism. Cretinism involves retarded growth of the above parts. So lack of thyroxine may also lead to swelling of the thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland is found on the neck. So when the thyroid gland is swollen, this condition will be called goiter. So the swelling of thyroid gland is called goiter. So therefore, underproduction of thyroxine may lead to goiter. Underproduction of thyroxine may lead to goiter. Okay, so we have seen the effect of underproduction of thyroxine. Underproduction of thyroxine may lead to cretinism. So these are some of the effects of underproduction of Thyroxine. By the way, these are suggested answers. There are, uh, there may be some other effects of underproduction of Thyroxine. You can also include them. So these are suggested effects of underproduction of Thyroxine. We move on to the last question. We move on to the last question, which is question 10. Question 10a, the question reads, define the term biodiversity. The question is carrying 2 marks. So biodiversity is made up of 2 terms. Bio means living things. Diversity means a wide range. So biodiversity is having a wide range of living things in an ecosystem or in the environment. So therefore, we are going to say biodiversity is the variety of all living organisms, all living things or organism, and their interaction in the given ecosystem. In the given ecosystem. We move to the next. We move on to the next question, which is question 10b. Question 10b explain 4 ways of maintaining biodiversity. So how can we maintain a good number of living organisms in an ecosystem? So we can maintain biodiversity by embracing and advocate afforestation. So afforestation involves planting of new trees to replace the old ones. So afforestation helps to prevent extinction. So extinction is the permanent disappearance of some species on the surface of the earth. Okay. Preventing deforestation. So deforestation is the careless cutting down of trees. So preventing deforestation may also help to prevent uh, to maintain biodiversity. Putting ban on uh, fishing and hunting. So ban on fishing and hunting may help to preserve some species, thereby maintaining uh, biodiversity. Okay, so we are going to say discouraging and preventing deforestation, the care is cutting down of trees, putting a ban on hunting of animals and fishing of aquatic organisms. So aquatic organisms, we are simply talking about fish. Sustainable and efficient utilization of natural resources. So a careful and responsible utilization or use of natural resources will help to prevent biodiversity. Embracing afforestation, which involve planting new trees and replacing old ones with new ones to avoid deforestation. So these are some of the ways we can use to these are suggested ways we can use to prevent or to maintain biodiversity. So if we avoid these ways, we we may destroy biodiversity. The last part of question 10, and this one will be our last question in this paper. Question 10c, identify the importance of conserving plants and animals. Identify the importance of conserving plants and animals. So the question is carrying 6 marks. So what are the importance or what are the benefits of conserving plants and animal species? So we need to understand that some animal and plants are used as source of food. We know that for us to survive, we need food. So therefore, there is need for us to have efficient utilization of these, or preserving or conserving these plants and animal species. Some plants and animals are used for medicinal purpose. So some tourists from other countries, they travel just to come and view the animals, the diverse number of animals we have in our game parks. So these people are coming from different countries. They are bringing revenue in our country. Okay, so we have seen that biodiversity can help to boost the economy of the country. They can help to boost the economy of the country. So therefore, we are going to say conservation of plants and animals is important because it prevents extinction of the species. Some plants and animals are used as a source of nutrients. Some plants and animals are used for medicinal purposes. Some plants and animals present a beautiful biodiversity that attract tourists, thereby bringing revenue in the country. So we have seen that it is important for us to preserve or conserve plant and animal species, or it is important for us to maintain our biodiversity. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this paper. Now let us move on to the next paper. We now shift to the next paper, which is the biology paper 1, multiple choice, 2022. Question 1. The question reads, Elena was walking along a road when he saw an object under a tree. When the learner touched the object, it changed color, rolled over, and divided into two. Which characteristic of living organisms has the object shown? A. Excretion, movement, nutrition. B. Growth, reproduction, sensitivity. C. Movement, reproduction, and respiration. D. Movement, reproduction, and sensitivity. So we need to understand that there are 7 characteristics of all living organisms, such as movement, respiration, sensitivity, nutrition, excretion, reproduction, and growth. So we are told, according to the question, that when the learner tried to touch the object changed the color. And this one is showing sensitivity. Okay, then the object rolled over, and this one is showing movement, and it divided into two. This one is showing reproduction. So therefore, the characteristics being talked about according to our question are movement, reproduction, and sensitivity. Therefore, our correct answer is D. Our correct answer is D. We move on to the next question, which is question 2. Question 2, the question reads, which of the following correctly shows the path followed by a light beam from a mirror to a viewer of a specimen under a microscope? A. Eyepiece, specimen, objective lens, barrel. B. Specimen, barrel, objective lens, eyepiece. C. Specimen, eyepiece, barrel, objective lens. D. Specimen, objective lens, barrel, eyepiece. Okay, so we are asked according to the question to give the correct path used by the beam of light, by the light beam from the mirror to the viewer. Okay, so the we have some of the some of the path or some of the routes used by the light here. Okay, by the light here. You are free to pause the video and understand the information on the screen. Okay, and you can also consider the microscope given here, and we have also included the parts. We have labeled the parts. So these are some of the parts used by the light. Okay, so the correct route or the correct path, the light will move through specimen, objective lens, barrel, then eyepiece. So therefore, our correct answer is D. We shift to the next question, which is question 3. Elena investigated osmosis in potato tissues. He set up the apparatus uh, as shown. He set up the apparatus as shown. So we can see potato cylinder P, potato cylinder Q. We have distilled water here. We have a very concentrated sugar solution here. At the end of the at the beginning, at the beginning, the potato cylinders were exactly balanced. So in short, the potato cylinders have same or equal weights. Okay, he immersed the cylinders into the liquids for 4 hours, after which the cylinders were lifted out of the liquids. Cylinder P was now heavier than cylinder Q. Which statement explains what happened? Water moved A into cylinder P, B into cylinder P and Q, C into cylinder Q, D out of cylinder P and Q. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do here is to understand these kind of solutions given. So the first solution, which is distilled water, this one is an hypotonic solution. So hypotonic solution is an external solution that has a low solute concentration and high water concentration compared to cell fluids. Okay, then a very concentrated solution is an example of hypertonic solution. So if we immerse the cell into the hypotonic solution or distilled water, since the distilled water has more water molecules, so water will move by osmosis into the cell or into the potato cylinder. So water will move from the region of high concentration to the region of low concentration across the semi-permeable membrane. Then here, uh, there is less water molecules. So potato disc has more water molecules. Hence, water molecules will start moving from the potato disc to the solution across the selective permeable membrane. So, therefore, our correct answer is A. Water moved into cylinder P. Water moved into cylinder P. We shift to the next question, which is question 4. Question 4, the question reads, two samples of human enzymes were used in an experiment. Before they were used, before they were used, sample X was heated to 80 degrees Celsius and cooled to 37 degrees Celsius. Sample Y was cooled to 0 degrees Celsius and then heated to 37 degrees Celsius. How did this affect the enzyme activity? A, sample X and sample Y were no longer active. B, sample X and sample Y were equally active. C, sample X was more active than sample Y. D, sample Y was active while sample X was inactive. Okay, so here they are talking about the temperature. They are talking about temperature and how the temperature affect the enzyme activity. So they high temperature, too high temperature affect or uh, denature or kill the enzyme. Okay, so when the enzyme is denatured, it cannot be reversed. Then when the temperature is too low, the enzyme will become inactive. The enzyme will become inactive. So we are told that the first enzyme, which is X, was heated to 80 degrees. So which means this enzyme was killed, and this enzyme cannot um and this process cannot be reversed. So in short, this enzyme can no longer work. Then enzyme Y was cooled to 0 degrees Celsius. So take note, this enzyme was only inactive, but it can come back. It can be reversed. It can be reversed and perform its function. So therefore, our correct answer is D. Sample Y was active while sample X was inactive. Our correct answer is D. We shift to the next question. We shift to the next question, which is question 5. Question 5, the question reads, the following table shows the percentage of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins in 4 samples of foods. Which food sample contains the most energy? So the first column we have carbohydrates in percentage. The second column we have fats in percentage. The third column we have proteins in percentage. So we need to understand that carbohydrates are the main source of energy, or sometimes they are called energy giving foods. Energy giving foods. So they are main source of energy. And we have seen that A is the one having the highest percentage of carbohydrates. So hence A will contain the most energy. A will contain the most energy. We shift to the next question, which is question 6. Question 6, the question reads, the following symptoms can be caused by a dietary deficiency: bone pain, dental problems, fragile bones, skeletal deformities. Which nutrient deficiency is most likely to cause these symptoms? A. Iron, B. Protein, C. Vitamin C, D. Vitamin D. Okay, so a dietary deficiency, uh, they are simply talking about the disease or condition that is coming as a result of lacking of uh, enough foods, okay, or enough nutrients. So the question is saying which nutrient deficiency is most likely to cause this deficiency. So lack of vitamin D will cause these complications: bone pain, dental problems, fragile bones, and skeletal deformities. So vitamin D and calcium performs a vital role in the strengthening of bonds. So we can see that all these uh, all these complications are coming uh, as a result of lack of vitamin D. The next question, which is question 7. Question 7, the question reads, which of the following groups of people need more carbohydrates in their diet? A. Age and youth. B. Lactating woman and sick person. C. Pregnant woman and the sportsman. D. Sick person and the preschool age. Okay, so the people who need more energy here, pregnant women and the sportsmen, or pregnant woman and the sportsman. We shift to the next question, which is question 8. Question 8, the question reads, a plant had the following signs: A. Poor root growth. Sorry, point 1, poor root growth. Point 2, small reproductive organs. Which nutrient was the plant lacking? Which nutrient was the plant lacking? A. Boron, B. Copper, C. Magnesium, D. Phosphorus. So phosphorus is responsible for root development. So phosphorus is responsible for root development and the well-being of reproductive organs. So therefore, our correct answer is D. So lack of phosphorus will lead to poor root development or poor root growth. The next question, which is question 9. Question 9, the question reads, the diagram shows the internal structure of a dicotyledonous leaf. Which part transports mineral salts and water? Which part, which part transport mineral salts and water? So we know that the parts that transport mineral salts and water are is the xylem. So the xylem vessel is the one that transport mineral salts and water. So where can we find xylem? So the xylem is found here. So our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. So xylem is found, or xylem is present towards the upper epidermis, and phloem is present towards the lower epidermis. The next question, which is question 10. Question 10, the question reads, which of the following best describes saprophytic nutrition? Which of the following best describe saprophytic nutrition? A. Feeding on dead or decaying matter. B. Feeding on living organisms. C. Involves intracellular digestion. D. Manufacturing of food nutrients. So, uh, saprophytic nutrition involve feeding on the dead materials, or saprophytic nutrition is the type of nutrition in which organisms feed on dead materials, feed on dead materials. Okay, so therefore our correct answer is A. Our correct answer is A. We shift to the next question, which is the question 11. Question 11, the question reads, the diagram shows a tooth with signs of decay. What has caused the tooth to decay? A. Acid. B. Saliva. C. Sugar. D. Toothpaste. Okay, so the accumulation of food substance on the surface of the enamel leads to development of bacteria. So these bacteria excrete acid. So acid is the one that is that can acid is the one that can dissolve the enamel. So acid is the one that can dissolve enamel. We shift to the next question, which is question 12. Question 12, the question reads, the table shows some of the changes that occur during breathing. So we have the first column. Here we have diaphragm, external intercostal muscles, internal intercostal muscles, and we have the second column from contracted to relaxed, from relaxed to contract. Okay, which changes occur to cause inspiration? Which changes occurs to cause inspiration? So these are the intercostal muscles are muscles between the lips. So the muscles between the lips are called internal intercostal muscles. Okay, then the muscles on the the muscles on the right hand side are called external intercostal muscle. Then the muscle on the left side here are called or the muscle found inside are called innermost intercostal muscle or internal intercostal muscle. Then the muscle found outside are called external intercostal muscle. So what will happen to these muscles during inspiration? So during inspiration, the internal intercostal muscles, the external intercostal muscles would contract. The diaphragm also contract. Okay, so therefore, our correct answer is C. The diaphragm will contract. the diaphragm will contract. The external intercostal muscle will also contract. The internal intercostal muscle will relax. Our correct answer is C. So you can pause the video and understand or make use of the simple notes given here. Okay, so we have seen that during during inspiration, the internal intercostal muscles will relax. We shift to question 13. Question 13, the question reads, which products of aerobic respiration are important for making beer and bread? For making beer and bread. So the first column we have beer, the second column we have bread. So the product of anaerobic respiration are alcohol, carbon dioxide, and energy. So energy is the major product, or energy is the common product of all types of respiration. Okay. So there is an enzyme present. There is an enzyme present in the yeast, and this enzyme is called zymes. So the function of the zymes is to break down glucose to carbon dioxide and ethanol. Carbon dioxide and ethanol. Okay. So I mean carbon dioxide and alcohol. So the alcohol is the one that is needed during manufacturing or during making of beer. So making of beer requires alcohol, and making of bread requires carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide that will be produced will help to raise or to expand the dough so that the bread can be baked. So manufacturing or production of alcohol needs or sorry, let me do this. Okay, so production of anaerobic respiration is the one that is taking place here. Anaerobic respiration is the one that is taking place. So so we can see that anaerobic respiration has led to production of alcohol and carbon dioxide, and these two are needed uh, in the production of alcohol and blood. So therefore, our correct answer is B. We shift to question 14. Question 14, the question reads, in order to reduce the effects of COVID-19, people are advised to get vaccinated. What type of immunity results from these vaccinations? A. Artificial active immunity. B. Artificial passive immunity. C. Natural active immunity. D. Natural passive immunity. Natural passive immunity. Okay. So we have two types of immunity here. We have active immunity and passive immunity. Under active immunity, we have artificial active immunity. So artificial active immunity involves antibodies developed in response to vaccination. So since we are talking about COVID-19 vaccination here, our correct answer is active immunity. Our correct answer is active immunity. We shift to the next question, which is question 15. The diagram shows a close section of a dicot plant stem and a dicot plant root, which labeled regions contain xylem vessels. So, dicot stem, in the dicot stem, the xylem vessel is found inside. The phloem vessel is found outside. Then the cambium is found between the xylem and phloem. The xylem and phloem. For dicot stem, the xylem is found at the center. Then the phloem is found here. Okay, so therefore our correct answer is C. Here the xylem is this one. So the xylem is this one. And here the xylem is this one. We shift to the next question, which is question 16. Question 16, the question reads, the following is a random list of processes necessary for wounds to heal. The blood forms a seal. 2. Fibrin traps red blood cells. 3. Fibrinogen is converted to fibrin. 4. New tissues form. In which correct order do these processes take place for the wound to heal? So they want us to give the correct order. So when the platelets are exposed to the cut or injury, the enzyme called thrombokinase or thromboplastin is released. So the function of this enzyme is to speed up the conversion of prothrombin to thrombin. Then thrombin speed up the conversion of fibrinogen to fibrin, and the fibrin is converted to fibers, forming a big network that holds the cells or the components of blood together, so that the cut can be can be covered. Okay, so that the cut can be covered. So therefore our correct answer here is C. So there are some steps skipped here. So the first step that we are going to take is fibrinogen is converted to fibrin. Fibrinogen is converted to fibrin. Then fibrin traps red blood cells. Then the blood clot forms a seal. 4. New tissue form. Okay, new tissue form. We shift to the next question, which is question 17. Question 17, the question reads, the diagram shows some blood cells and a nearby capillary. Some blood cells and nearby capillary. Which substances must pass in the direction of the arrow X for the cells to respire aerobically? A. Carbon dioxide and water. B. Glucose and oxygen. C. Oxygen and glucose. D. Water and salt. So we have seen that the substances moving from the blood vessel to the cells are glucose and oxygen. So the substances here that will move from the blood vessel to the cells are glucose and oxygen. Therefore, our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. We shift to the next question, which is question 18. Question 18, the question reads, the diagram shows a nephron branch from renal artery. Blood returns to renal vein, correcting tubule. Where do ultrafiltration and selective reabsorption occur? So we have ultrafiltration and selective reabsorption. So ultrafiltration takes place in the Bowman's capsule. Selective reabsorption takes place in the two tubule. The proximal convoluted tubule and distal convoluted tubule. Then osmoregulation also takes place in two parts, loop of Henle and the collecting duct. So therefore, this one is showing the Bowman's capsule, Then this one is showing proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, so therefore our correct answer is A. We shift to the next question, which is question 19. Question 19, what is true for a runner at the end of the race in hot weather? A. Sweating and vasoconstriction. B. Sweating and vasodilation. C. Vasoconstriction only. D. Vasodilation only. Okay, so our correct answer here, our correct answer when the runner is running in the hot weather, so what will happen? The arterioles would dilate, the hair elector muscles, the hair elector muscles will relax, and hairs will lie flat. Sweat will be circulated on the skin. So therefore, our correct answer is B. Sweating and vasodilation. Sweating and vasodilation. We shift to the next question, which is question 20. Question 20, the question reads, which of the following hormones stimulates growth by stimulating synthesis of macromolecules such as carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins? A. Antidiuretic hormone. B. Growth hormone. C. Thyroid stimulating hormone. D. Thyroxine. Okay. Which of the following hormones stimulate growth? So growth hormone is the one that is responsible for growth. Okay, so our correct answer is growth hormone. We shift to question 21. Question 21, the question reads, which of the following correctly shows examples and types of reflex action? The first column we have reflex, we have spinal reflex. The second column we have cranial reflex. The third column we have conditioned reflex. Okay, so knee jerk is an example of a spinal reflex. Then blinking is an example of a cranial reflex because it is controlled by cranial nerves. Then salivating is an example of a conditioned reflex because it is coming as a result of training or learning or practicing. Okay, so therefore our correct answer is C. Spinal reflex, knee jerk. Cranial reflex, blinking. Conditioned reflex, salivating. We shift to the next question, which is question 22. Question 22, the question reads, the diagram shows a human here. Which of the labeled parts is involved in balance? So the labeled parts involved in balance, we have the collective apparatus here called vestibular apparatus. So these parts are responsible for balance. So therefore, our correct answer is so the main function of the tuber of the inner here is to perceive movement and acceleration so that the body may maintain equilibrium and balance. So therefore, our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. Question 23, the question reads, the diagram shows the elbow joint in two different positions, muscle X, muscle Y. Then after some time we can see that this arm is stretching. The question continues, what happens to the muscles X and Y to change the position of the elbow joint as shown? Muscle X, muscle Y. A, contracts. So the first thing that we need to do is to identify muscle X and muscle Y. So muscle X, this is a bicep muscle. Then muscle Y is a tricep muscle. So the bicep muscle will relax when the arm is being stretched. Then the tricep muscle will contract when the arm is being stretched. Okay. Then here we have the opposite case. when the arm is being bent, the the bicep muscles will contract, the tricep muscles will relax. So therefore, our correct answer is C. So in order to stretch this arm here, the X muscle will relax, Y muscle will contract. We shift to the next question, which is question 24. Question 24, the question reads, which of the following correctly distinguishes a toxic response from a tropic response? A toxic response involves hormones. B is a growth movement. C is a movement of all organisms. D is irreversible. Okay. So the toxic response is the response offered by animals. So we know that animals respond to stimulus or stimuli by moving the whole body. So our correct answer is C. So for tropic response, the tropic response is offered by plants. And we know that only part of plants are able to respond to stimuli. For example, the shoot will respond positively to light and will respond negatively to gravity. So our correct answer is C. Our correct answer is C, the movement of all organisms. Question 25. Which of the following is the correct order of processes that occur during growth? A. Cell division, cell elongation, cell specialization, cell specialization. B. Cell division, cell specialization, cell elongation. C. Cell elongation, cell division, and cell specialization. D. Cell elongation, cell specialization, and cell division. So these are steps. These are steps. Number one, cell division, cell elongation, and cell specialization. So therefore, our correct answer is A. Our correct answer is A. We shift to the next question, which is the question, question 26. Question 26. The question reads: the diagram shows some seedlings. Which seedling or seedlings shows epidure germination? So epidure germination is the type of germination in which the cotyledon is pushed above the ground. For hypodue germination, the cotyledon is left in the ground or it is left within the soil. Hypodue germination, the cotyledon is pushed above the soil. So we can see that 2 and 3 are showing cotyledons left in the ground or left in the soil. Then for 1, we can see that the cotyledon is being pushed above the ground. So we can see that the only seedling that is showing hypodue germination is 1 only. So our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. We shift to the next question, which is question 27. Question 27, the question reads: the diagram shows asexual reproduction in a unicellular organism. What type of asexual reproduction is shown? What type of asexual reproduction is shown? What type of asexual reproduction is shown? A. Binary fission. B. Budding. C. Fragmentation. D. Spore formation. D. Spore formation. So the type of reproduction being shown here is budding. So unicellular organism that's produced by budding is yeast. So yeast is a unicellular organism that produces by budding, that reproduces by budding. Binary fission binary fission lead to production of two identical daughters? Our correct answer is B. Our correct answer is B. We shift to question 28. Question 28, the question reads, the diagram shows a strawberry plant. Which labeled parts of the plant can only be produced by asexual reproduction? Which labeled parts of the plant can only be produced by asexual reproduction? So we know that flowering plants performs sexual reproduction. So we can see that part A, part B, and part C, these can be produced by sexual reproduction. So the only part that cannot be produced by sexual reproduction is D. So D, this one is a runner, and this one is showing asexual reproduction. So therefore, our correct answer is D. We shift to the next question, which is question 29. Question 29, the question reads, which processes occur in the chapel of the flower? A. Extracting insects and pollination. B. Fertilization and producing pollen. C. Pollination and fruit formation. D. Releasing pollen and fertilization. So which processes occur in the chapel? So which one is the chapel? So the chapel is the female part of the flower. So the function of the chapel is involved in the process of pollination, fertilization, and reproduction. The chapel or carpel is involved in the process of pollination, fertilization, and reproduction. So therefore, our correct answer is the pollination and fruit formation. Attract insects and pollination. So the function of attracting insects is the petal is the one that is responsible for attracting insects. Fertilization and producing pollen Yes, fertilization takes place in the chapel, but producing pollen takes place in the anther. So anther is the one that is responsible for producing pollen grain. Releasing pollen grain, the one that releases pollen grain is the anther, not the chapel. So the pollen grain are released on the stigma so that they can develop the pollen tube so that the fertilization can take place. So fertilization takes place in the ovary or in the ovule. I mean in the ovary, yes. After the pollen tube has been penetrated through stigma. Our correct answer is C. We move on to the next question, which is question 30. Question 30, the question reads, the following processes occur during reproduction in flowering plants. Number 1, fertilization. Number 2, growth of pollen tubes. Number 3, pollination. Number 4, seed formation. In which order do these processes occur? So like I said, the first process is pollination. Pollination is the release of pollen grain by anther on the stigma, then followed by development of the pollen tube, then followed by the fusion of the male cell and the female cell, or the pollen grain and the ovum found within the ovum. So these are some of the steps or processes taking place or that occur during reproduction in flowering plant. So the first one is pollination, followed by growth of pollen tube, followed by fertilization, followed by seed formation. So you are free to pause the video and start these steps. We shift to the next question, which is question 31. Question 31, the question reads, a frog becomes an adult when A, it has all four legs and its tail disappears. B, it has four legs and a tail. C, it has hind legs. D, its tail gets smaller. So a frog becomes an adult when it has four legs and the tail disappear. So we can see that here the tail has disappeared and this one has four legs. Here it has two legs. Here it has no legs. So as it is growing, the number of legs increases from 0 to 4 or from 2 to 4. Then the tail disappears. So our correct answer is A. We shift to the next question, which is question 32. Question 32, the question reads, the diagram show four methods of birth control. The diagram show four methods of birth control. Which one is placed in the uterus? Which one is placed in the uterus? So the one that is placed, by the way, the function of contraceptive pills is to disturb or interrupt the normal functioning of the hormones. Then the one that is placed here, here it is showing the diaphragm. Here it is showing the intrauterine device. So intrauterine device is the one that is placed, is the one that is placed in the uterus so that it can prevent penetration of sperms into fallopian tube or penetration of sperms into the vagina. The next question, which is question 33. What makes tongue rolling an example of a discontinuous variation? What makes tongue rolling an example of discontinuous variation? A person can either roll a tongue or cannot. B, a person can roll a tongue only when he or she is young. C, there are many different types of tongue rollers. D, tongue rolling has to be learned. So the first thing that we need to do is to identify or to define or to explain discontinuous variation. So discontinuous variation shows a limited possibility of something or limited possibility of characters. So when we say limited possibility of characters or features or limited possibilities, we mean, for example, there are only four types of blood groups: blood group A, B, AB, and O. So we only have four types of blood groups, and we only have four types of sexes or genders, female or male. So these are examples of discontinuous variation. This one being they are showing the limited number of possibility or the limited feature or the limited variation. And the discontinuous variation, these are characters that cannot be measured. So for example, you cannot measure the type of a blood group or the type of teeth. So the reason why tongue rolling is an example of a discontinuous variation, it has only two possibilities. You can either roll your tongue or you cannot royal tongue. Only two possibilities. So we have seen that it is showing the limited possibility. For continuous variation shows a wide length of possibilities. So for example, we can have 200 people with a different foot size, but we can have 200 people with only 4 types of blood groups. 200 people with only 4 types of blood groups, so to say. So we have seen that tongue rolling is an example of a discontinuous variation, because you can either roll your tongue or you cannot. There are only two possibilities. Only two possibilities. So therefore, our correct answer is A. Our correct answer is A. Our correct answer is A. Okay, let me indicate so that you can see clearly. Our correct answer is A. Okay, we shift to the next question, which is the question 34. The diagram shows one of the stages in mitosis. Which of the following stages of mitosis is shown in the diagram? A. Anaphase, B. Metaphase, C. Prophase, D. Telophase. So we have stages of mitosis here. We have interphase, we have prophase, we have metaphase, we have anaphase, and we have telophase. So this one is showing anaphase. So anaphase shows the movement of chromosomes from the equator. So the chromosomes or the daughter chromatides are being pulled away from the equator or from the center. We shift to the next question, which is question 35. Question 35, the question leads to it. Phylum do algae belong? A. Chlorophyta, B. Chlorophyta, C. Teledophyta, D. Spermatophyta. So this one is showing chlorophyta, So therefore, our correct answer is B. We shift to the next question, which is question 36. Question 36, the question leads. The diagrams shows an experiment set up to compare porosity of two types of soil. After 10 minutes, the results showed that different volumes of water were collected in the two measuring cylinders. The conclusion was that A had low porosity because it was clay soil. B had low porosity because it was sand soil. C B had high porosity because it was clay soil. D B had high porosity because it was sand soil. So the question is trying to show, or the question is trying to tell us that there are spaces within the soil. So we have seen that after experiment, here a huge volume of water has been collected. Here a small volume of water has been collected. So we have seen that this type of the soil has more spaces, or pores. Hence water was moving fast. Here this one has less pores. So therefore we are going to make use of the diagram given here, and we can see spaces here, and we can see spaces here. Okay, so our correct answer therefore is D. So B had high porosity because it was sand. So sand soil has more porosity. Question 37. Which of the following list of components of the ecosystem forms a biotic component? A. Air, fish, green plants. B. Grass, water, lily, water. C. Water, lily, soil, and fish. D. Water, sunlight, and air. So we need to differentiate between abiotic and biotic. Biotic factors, these are living things. Abiotic factors, these are non-living things. So we have seen that A is showing fish. Fish is a living thing. Green plant is a living thing also. B we have glass. Glass is a living thing. C, we have fish. Fish is a living thing. D, we have water, sunlight, air. So D is showing abiotic factors. So abiotic factors are non-living things. So therefore, our correct answer is D. Our correct answer is D. We move on to the next question, which is question 38. Question 38, the question reads, the diagram shows an ecological pyramid. The diagram shows an ecological pyramid. Which of the levels shows primary consumer? Which of the levels shows primary consumer? Okay, so we have seen the producer, the primary consumer, the secondary consumer, and the tertiary consumer. So in this case, our primary consumer is rabbits. So rabbits are primary consumer. Rabbits are primary consumer. We move on to the next question, which is question 39. Question 39, the question reads, the diagram shows parts of the nitrogen cycle. Part of the nitrogen cycle, we can see ammonia, we can see nitrate, we can see nitrogen, we can see plant protein, and we can see animal protein, dead matter. Which stage depends on nitrifying bacteria? Which stage depends on nitrifying bacteria? So the one that uh, convert ammonia to nitrate is the nitrifying bacteria. So which one is showing the conversion of ammonia to nitrate? So C is the one that is showing the conversion of ammonia to nitrate. So nitrifying bacteria uh, spearhead or speed up the conversion or helps to convert ammonia to nitrate. So therefore, our correct answer is C. We move on to the next question, which is question 40. Question 40, the question reads, an adaptive feature of an organism is defined as one that helps the organism to A, change, B, disperse to new habitats, C, grow, D, survive and reproduce. So adaptive the adaptive features of organisms helps organisms to survive helps the organism to survive, just in case they are exposed to new environment or just in case they are exposed to harsh environment. So these adaptive features will help the organisms to adjust and survive and reproduce. So therefore, our correct answer is D. Our correct answer is D. So this brings us to the end of this paper. We now shift to our last paper, which is the biology paper 2 theory 2016, and this paper was written by GCE candidates. Question 1, let me start with the instructions. Answer all the questions in the spaces provided on the question paper. Question 1. Figure 1.0 shows the setup to an experiment used to investigate the effect of biological catalysts on the decomposition of nitrogen peroxide to produce oxygen. So we are given this experiment. 3 experiments were carried out under different conditions as shown in the table. The first question, what is the general name given to the biological catalyst? What is the general name given to the biological catalyst? So the biological catalyst they are talking about in this question is an enzyme. So enzyme is a biological catalyst that speed up the rate of chemical reaction. Our correct answer is enzyme. We shift to the next question, which is question 1A, Roman numeral 2. Give a reason for boiling the potato G6 in experiment 2. So we have seen that in experiment 2, the potato G6 were boiled. the potato discs were boiled. So we need to understand that the potato discs contains an enzyme called um, catalase. So the reason why the potato discs are being boiled in experiment 2 is to kill the enzyme found in the potato disc, the enzyme called catalase. So this enzyme is called catalase, which is here. Let me indicate. So this is the enzyme that is present in potato disc. So this enzyme, the boiling of the potato disc is to kill the enzyme which is present in the potato disc in order to kill or denature the enzyme catalase found in potato discs. We shift to the next question. Which is question which is question 3. Explain the difference in the results obtained between experiment 1 and experiment 2. So we can see that uh, during experiment 1, 1.5 cubic centimeters of volume was collected. Then during experiment 3, 10.0 cubic centimeters was collected. So we have seen that there is a huge difference. So a huge amount of volume, or the huge volume of oxygen was collected in experiment 3. Then a small volume of oxygen was collected in experiment 1. Okay, was collected in experiment 1. So we have seen the difference. We have seen the difference. We shift to the next question, which is the question B. Predict what would be the results of A, increasing the number of potato discs in 5 cubic centimeters of hydrogen peroxide. So this experiment was set up to break down hydrogen peroxide. So hydrogen peroxide is a molecule or a compound having hydrogen and oxygen. So the enzyme found in the potato discs are used to break down hydrogen peroxide so that oxygen can be released. So the last time when we were looking at the enzymes, we said the concentration of enzymes also affect the rate of reaction. So if we increase the amount of enzyme, the reaction will be fast. And when the reaction is fast, we expect a huge volume of oxygen to be collected. So increasing the number of potato discs will speed up the reaction as long as there is substrate available to bind to. So therefore we are going to say a huge amount of oxygen will be collected. So when the reaction is fast, because of the catalyst or because of the enzyme, this will lead to production of a huge amount of oxygen. So in this case, the product is oxygen. We move on to the next question, which is B, Roman numeral 2. Predict what would be the result of heating the mixture of 5 centimeter cube or cubed of hydrogen peroxide with the 5 potato discs. So small amount of oxygen would be collected. This one B. Okay, so we have seen that the enzyme found in potato D6 is affecting the rate of reaction. And when the rate of reaction has been affected, even the product of reaction will be affected. We shift to the next question, which is the question E. Which is question E. The last question suggests two other characteristics of a biological catalyst not demonstrated. So this one was skipped by mistake. This one was skipped by mistake. Let me go back. I see something. Okay, so this one was skipped by mistake. Nevertheless, we are going to suggest two other characteristics of a biological catalyst not demonstrated in the above setup. So we have seen that. According to the experiment setup and according to the questions asked, we have seen that they have talked about the effects of temperature on enzyme and the effect of concentration of enzymes, or the features or the characteristics. So we are going to say enzymes are specific in nature. So enzymes are specific in nature. Each enzyme has a specific function. Enzymes are proteins in nature. Enzymes are protein in nature. And the enzymes can speed up the rate of chemical reaction without themselves being used up in the reaction. So enzyme will remain unaffected. So after spearheading or after supporting or after advocating for the reaction, enzyme will remain unaffected and undisturbed. We shift to the next question, which is question 2. Question 2, the question reads, Figure 2.0 shows cells taken from a vesicular tissue in a plant. Question 2a, Roman numeral 1, identify the cells in figure 2.1. So which cell are they talking about here? So the cell they are talking about is phloem cell. So this one is a phloem cell. This one is a phloem cell. The next question, name one feature in figure 2.0 which enabled you to identify the specialized cell in A Roman numeral 1 above. So what has made us to identify the above cell? So the phloem works in conjunction with companion cell, and we can also see sleeve tubes. So these are some of the features that may help us to identify or to know that this is a phloem cell. We shift to the next question, which is the question A, Roman numeral 3. Which letters on figure 2.0 corresponds to the following structures? A, number 1, nucleus. Number 2, cytoplasm. So the one that is showing cytoplasm is A. I mean nucleus is A. And the one that is showing cytoplasm is D. The next question, which is question 2b, give two functions of the cell labeled B. Give two functions of the cell labeled B. So the cell labeled B, this one is a companion cell. This one is a companion cell. So the companion cell, This one is a companion cell. Give two functions of the cell labeled. So the function of the companion cell is to keep the sleeve alive by providing nutrients. So companion cell keep the sleeve alive by providing nutrients. Companion cell also provide energy for translocation. So translocation is the movement of manufactured nutrients from the site of synthesis to the site of storage or to the site of usage. So we know that the phloem vessel is the one that conducts these manufactured nutrients. So therefore, for these manufactured nutrients to be conducted, there is need for energy. So the companion cell provide energy, provide the phloem cell with the energy. So translocation is the movement of organic solutes such as amino acids and sucrose in plants from the leaves to other parts of the plants. The next question, with reference to the specialized cell in figure 2.0, name the process by which substances are transported. We are from talking about this one, which is translocation. C. Suggest two substances transported by the specialized cell. Amino acids and sucrose. So amino acids and sucrose are substances transported by the cell above. We shift to the next question, which is question 3. Figure 3.0 shows a diagram of a tooth. So we can see sensory nerve, tooth decay, and gum. The question continues. Question 3a, Roman numeral 1. Identify the type of tooth shown in figure 3.0 above and state its function. Type of a tooth. So the type of the tooth shown here, this one is a premolar. Why are we saying this one is a premolar? We can see two roots. We have this root and this one. For a molar has three roots. A molar has three roots. So incisors one root, canine one root, premolar two roots, molar three roots. So this one is a premolar. Okay. The function of the premolar are used for clashing and grinding. Premolar are used for clashing and grinding. The next question, label on the diagram the following parts of a tooth. Number 1, blood capillaries. Number 2, dentine. So where can we find blood capillaries and dentines? So here we have blood capillaries or blood vessels. So these are blood capillaries or blood vessels. Then we have a dentine here. So this is the dentine we are simply looking for. Okay, so we have seen that. Now let us label them. So we have seen that uh, we have seen that the one that is showing blood capillaries, the one that is showing blood capillaries is this one. Then the one that is showing dentine, the one that is showing dentine is this one. Okay, so you are free to go back to the previous slide so that you can see the labeled tooth. Okay, you can see the labeled tooth. We shift to the next question, which is the question B, Roman numeral 2. Question B, Roman numeral 2, the question reads, suggest how tooth decay can be brought about. Suggest how tooth decay can be brought about. So tooth decay can be brought about after the accumulation of food substances on the surface of the enamel. So this accumulation of food substances on the enamel will lead to development of bacteria. So these bacteria will start circulating acids on the surface of the enamel. And we know that acids is capable of dissolving the enamel. So We have skipped one question, which is question B1, Roman numeral 2. Mention two elements or ions which enables part F to perform its functions more efficiently. So these are elements that helps to strengthen or that helps our teeth to grow healthy or to perform their functions effectively and efficiently. Phosphate, phosphorus, and calcium. These are two elements, calcium and uh, phosphorus. Calcium and phosphorus. So suggest how tooth decay can be brought about. So I have already explained this one. So we are just going to say tooth decay is brought about through accumulation of food substances on the enamel, which leads to development of bacteria that dissolve enamel. Give one way in which tooth decay can be prevented. How can tooth decay be prevented? How can tooth decay be prevented? So tooth decay can be prevented by brushing teeth 3 times a week. Avoid opening bottle tops teeth using teeth. Um, Consuming diet rich in calcium, phosphorus, and vitamin D. So these will help to prevent uh, this will help sorry, not this one. So tooth decay can also be prevented by brushing your teeth using toothpaste. So there are some elements present in toothpaste that can help to prevent toothpaste. Okay, so we are going to say avoid opening bottle tops using your teeth. Avoid opening bottle tops using your teeth. We move on to the next question, which is question 4. Question 4, the question reads, Figure 4.0 show feeding relationship of organisms in an ecosystem. Question 4a, which of the named organisms represents a producer, a primary consumer? So the one representing the producer or the primary consumer, the producer. So in this case, the producer is the plant. The producer is the plant. So the glass here is the producer. So which one is the primary consumer? So primary consumer can be this one, grasshopper or mice. Grasshopper and mice. These two are primary consumers. B. What is the primary source of energy in figure 4.0 above? So the primary source of energy is the sun. So the sun is the primary source of energy. The sun is the primary source of energy. Okay, the sun is the primary source of energy. We shift to question 4c, Roman numeral 1. State the form in which energy flows from one trophic level to another. State the form in which energy flows from one trophic level to another. So in science, we learned that energy cannot be destroyed or created, but it can be transformed from this form to another form. So therefore, our correct answer is chemical energy. Our correct answer is chemical energy. So energy is transferred from this trophic level in form of chemical or in a chemical form. We shift to the next question, which is the question C, Roman numeral 2. Explain what happens to the energy named in C1 as it passes from one trophic level to the next. So as energy is passing from one trophic level to another, only 10% of that energy is transferred to the next trophic level. Then 90% of the energy is lost. 90% of energy is lost. Okay. So we are going to say only 10% of the energy will be passed on to the next trophic level. Then the remaining 90% is lost as heat. The next question, which is question D, Roman numeral 1. Question D, Roman numeral 1. Identify two examples in figure 4.0 which are both secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. Secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. Secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. So we can see a secondary consumer here and a primary consumer here. So which one is showing the secondary consumer? So this one is a secondary, this one is a secondary consumer, and this one is also a secondary consumer. So we have seen that a snake is acting as a secondary consumer, at the same time it is acting as a tertiary consumer. Okay, so work. Okay. Okay, so which are both secondary consumer and the tertiary consumer. So we have seen that question 5, the question leads table 5.0 below shows a close between a brown male pig labeled the pig B with the two female pigs, brown pig A and white pig C. So we are given the first column. The first column we have pig, the second column we have phenotype, and we have offspring here. Okay, the first question, the question leads, explain why pig B had no offspring. Explain why pig B had no offspring. So we all know that pig B is a male pig. We know that the male pig does not bear offsprings. Okay, does not bear offsprings. So therefore we are going to say pig B is a male pig and it cannot bear offsprings. So we are going to say pig B is a male pig. Males do not give birth. We shift to the next question, which is question 5b. Question 5b, the question leads from the results in table 5.0 and using the symbol B for dominant allele and B for recessive allele. B, Roman numeral 1, identify the recessive phenotype of the skin color of the pigs. Identify the recessive phenotype. So to identify the recessive phenotype, we are going to make use of the number of the offspring given. So here, the first one we have seen here we have 4, and we have 12. So we are going to come up with the ratio, and this ratio will help us to know which one is the recessive. Okay, so the ratio will be 1 to 3. The ratio will be 1 to 3. Okay, so the smaller number here is representing the number of recessive, the number of white pigs. Then 3 is representing the number of brown pigs. Then uh, on white female, the offspring of white female, the ratio is 80. Let us come up with the ratio. So the ratio will be like this. So we are going to simplify so that we can come up with the ratio. Here divided by 8, even here divided by 8. And we are going to come up with a 1-to-1 ratio. So we are going to use these two ratios to predict the phenotype, to predict the phenotype of the offspring. Identify the recessive phenotype. So the recessive phenotype is white. Why are we saying white? We can see a small number of offspring here as compared to the small number of white offspring as compared to number of brown offsprings. So therefore, our correct answer is uh, white. So to understand fully the meaning of phenotype, phenotype is something that we can see. Then genotype is the genetic information or genetic makeup. So therefore we are going to say white. So here we are not going to use alleles. We are going to use say white. We shift to the next question, which is question 5b. Question 5b, the question leads, suggest the genotypes of pig A and C. So the genotype of pig A and C. So pig A, we have seen that 25% of the offspring produced are white, then 75% are brown. So therefore we know that for us to have this number of offspring, we need to have two parents or heterozygous dominant. So to illustrate what we are talking about, let's allow capital letter B to represent brown, capital letter B to represent brown, then small letter b to represent white. So if we do crossings here, we are going to have brown, brown. We cross this one and this one, we are going to have brown. We cross this one and this one, we are going to have brown. We close this one and this one, we are going to have white. Okay, so therefore we have seen that for us to have 25% and 75% offspring is because we closed two heterozygous parents. So therefore we are going to have capital letter B, small letter b. Then for for C, by the way, we need to understand that the genotype of B, which is a male, is B, capital letter B, small letter b. So for us to have a 1-to-1 ratio, we need to close heterozygous dominant and homozygous recessive. Heterozygous dominant and homozygous recessive. We cross this one and this one, we are going to have we are going to produce an offspring with the brown color. We close this one and this one, we are going to produce an offspring with the brown color. We close this one and this one, we are going to produce an offspring with the white color. We close this one and this one, we are going to produce an offspring with the white color. So we have seen that uh, crossing these two genotypes will lead to production of the equal number of offspring, white and brown. So therefore, the genotype of pig C is BB, small letter b. Okay, we shift to the next question, which is question C. Question C, the question leads, using a genetic diagram, show the results of crossing B with the pig B, crossing B and pig B. So we are from saying pig B has a genotype B capital letter B, small letter b. Then we have small letter b, small letter b. If we close this one and this one, we are going to produce heterozygous offspring, which a brown heterozygous offspring. We close this one and this one, we are going to produce a brown uh, a brown heterozygous offspring. We close this one and this one, we are going to have B, B. We close this one and this one, we are going to have B, B. Okay, so we have seen that we have a equal number of brown and white. So the question is carrying 5 marks. So therefore, yeah, it is imperative for us to include each and every detail required to attract 4 marks. So we are going to start with the parental phenotype. Parental phenotype, we have pig B and pig C. Parental phenotype, brown. A, pig C, white. Parental genotype, capital letter B, small letter b. A, small letter b, small letter b. Gametes, we separate the alleles. Here we have capital letter B, small letter b. We cross this one and this one. We are going to produce an offspring with the brown color. We cross this one and this one. We are going to produce an offspring with the brown color. We cross this one and this one. We are going to produce an offspring with the um, white color. We close this one and this one, we are going to produce an offspring with the white color. Okay, so we can see that we have successfully managed to predict. We have successfully managed to predict the genetic. We have successfully managed to come up with the genetic diagram. Now let us shift to section B. Answer any 3 questions. So we are expected to answer 3 questions from this section. All answers should be in sentence form in paragraphs. So we need to compile our sentences in paragraphs. So since we are doing division, we are going to answer all 5 questions from this section. Question 6a, the question reads, what are the characteristics of the ovulus as a respiratory surface? So ovulus is also called the respiratory surface or exchange gaseous exchange surface. So it provides the platform where exchanging of gases takes place, or it provides the platform where gaseous exchange takes place. Now, what are the features making uh, the ovulus to carry out its function? So ovulus is made up of the ovulus are made up of one cell thick, so that the distance of diffusion can be reduced. Then the surface is moisture, so that carbon dioxide and oxygen can dissolve, so that diffusion can, so that exchange can be enhanced. Exchange of gases can be enhanced. Okay, exchange of gases can be enhanced. So therefore, we are going to say respiratory exchange surface have the following characteristics: large surface area to maximize the exchange of gases, moisture surface because gases need to dissolve before they can diffuse across a surface, thin surface to minimize the distance of diffusion so that there is faster diffusion, close association with a transport system to transport the gases to and from the gaseous exchange surface. So these are some of the characteristics possessed by ovulus, and these characteristics enable the ovulus to carry out the gaseous exchange. So we have answered this question. Now let us move on to the next question, which is the question 6b. Question 6b, the question reads, the mechanism involved in the inspiration in human beings. Describe the mechanism involved in the inspiration in human being. So inspiration involves taking in of air. So inspiration involves taking in of air. During inspiration in human, the following activities occur. The diaphragm contracts and pulls down. At the same time, the muscles between the ribs, such as external intercostal muscles contract while internal intercostal muscles relaxes, and this increases the size of the thoracic cavity and increases the pressure inside. So during inspiration, the diaphragm contracts due to due to increase in the volume of the air, and they pull downward. At the same time, the muscles between the lips, the intercostal muscles contract, while the internal intercostal muscles relaxes, and this increases the size of thoracic cavity and decreases the pressure inside. So this is the mechanism involved in inspiration in human beings. Okay, we now shift to the next question. We shift to the next question, which is question 7. Question 7, the question reads, explain the causes of coronary heart disease. So coronary heart disease is a heart disease. So this disease comes as a result of the blockade that takes place within the coronary artery. So coronary artery are the ones supplying oxygen and nutrients to the walls of the heart from the aorta. So when these arteries are blocked, then someone is bound to have coronary heart disease. So what are the causes of coronary heart disease? What will make the arteries to be blocked? So therefore we are going to say smoking. Cigarette smoke contains nicotine. So this nicotine leads to accumulation of cholesterol in the blood. So the cholesterol block the blood vessel, block the coronary artery, thereby leading to coronary heart disease. The next cause, eating foods rich in fats. So fats foods are easily converted to cholesterol, which block coronary arteries. So fats can be converted to cholesterol, and cholesterol can be accumulated in the coronary arteries. And when the coronary arteries are blocked, then the coronary artery disease is bound to emerge. Lack of exercise can lead to fat material building up in your arteries. So lack of exercise can also lead to coronary heart disease. Being emotional. When you are emotional, the body secretes high levels of adrenaline, which leads to accumulation of cholesterol in the blood. So when you are stressed, a huge volume of adrenaline are secreted in the blood vessel, thereby blocking the coronary artery. So these are some of the causes of coronary artery. Okay, we shift to the next question, which is question 7a, Roman numeral 2. Discuss how coronary heart disease can be prevented. So how can coronary artery diseases be prevented? So coronary artery disease can be prevented by avoiding the mentioned causes. You need to avoid smoking, you need to exercise regularly, you need to avoid being emotional. Okay, you need to exercising regularly will help you to melt some of the fats that may be found within the coronary heart disease. So therefore we are going to say these are some of the ways in which coronary artery disease can be prevented: exercising regularly and avoid smoking. So in this way, coronary heart disease can be prevented. Question 7b, describe the function of the lymph nodes in disease prevention. So lymph nodes are very important in the immune system, and the lymph nodes, they also participates, they take part in a lymphatic system. So lymphatic system involves transport and immunity. So the lymph nodes filter out the foreign bodies or foreign materials. So the lymph nodes filter out the harmful or remove harmful substances, foreign bodies, and waste products. They have lymphocytes that destroy foreign bodies and toxins. So by doing so, the lymph nodes helps to fight or to prevent diseases. The next question, which is question 8. Question 8, the question reads, the following are parts associated with the skeletal system. Number 1, vertebral column. Number 2, skull. Number 3, skeletal muscle. Describe their characteristics and their functions. So each question is carrying 6 marks. So we have 3 skeletal systems here. 3 skeletal system. I mean, we have 3 parts of the skeletal system. So we are going to describe their characteristics. So since we have 3 parts of the skeletal system, each part will be carrying 2 marks. Okay, 2 marks. So we are going to start with the vertebral column. So vertebral column is a flexible column. Here we are given characteristics. So vertebral column is a flexible column and consists of 33 vertebrae separated by compressible pads of cartilage called an intervertebral disc. So these 33 vertebrae are separated by intervertebral disc, and there are five types of vertebrae, such as pelvic, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and cossageal. So these are four. These are 5 types of vertebrae. So they have 33 types of vertebrae. We are also going to give characteristics of a skull. Characteristics of a skull. So a skull is made up of the upper jaw and the lower jaw. The upper jaw is also called maxilla. The lower jaw is also called mandible. We can see the frontal lobe, we can see the nose bone, and we can see zygomatic bone. Okay, therefore we are going to say skull contains the following characteristics: the upper jaw maxillaris, the lower jaw mandible is attached to the upper jaw by muscles and cranium made up of immovable bones. So these are some of the characteristics of the skull. These are some of the characteristics of the skull. We are also going to give characteristics, or we are going to explain characteristics of skeletal muscle. So this one should also carry 2 marks. So we have 3 parts of the skeletal system, and each one should carry 2 marks so that we can attract 6 marks. Okay, the skeletal muscle. The function of the skeletal muscle, by the way, there are 3 types of muscle. Skeletal muscle, there are 2 types of skeletal muscle, smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. So the characteristic of skeletal muscles are also called ciliated muscle. Skeletal muscle are voluntary, while cardiac and smooth muscles are involuntary. By the way, sorry, I made the mistake. There are 3 types of muscles: skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles, and smooth muscles. So skeletal muscles are also called ciliated muscles. Now let us look at their function, the function of these 3 parts. So we are going to start with the vertebra, the function of the vertebral column. So what is the function of the vertebral column? So vertebral column offers support vertebral column. So we are going to say the vertebral column supports the body's physical structure and nervous system, enabling the movement and the sensation. So the function of the vertebral column is to offer physical support, the physical support. Let us also look at the function of the skull. So the skull offers protection to the delicate part of the brain or part of the head. So it skull is both structurally supportive and protective. Protects its inner contents, cerebellum, and brainstem. In short, it protects the delicate part of the brain. Let us also give the function of the skeletal muscles. The function of the skeletal muscles, here are the functions of the skeletal muscles. So skeletal muscles provide movement. They also play an essential role in the respiratory mechanism and help maintain posture and balance. They also protect the vital organs in the body. The vital organs in the body. We shift to the next question. Which is question 9. Question 9, the question leads. Question 9a. What is meant by tropic response? What is meant by tropic response? So tropic response is the type of response offered by plants. So part of the plant responds to stimulus, and this response may be positive or negative. So the response towards the stimulus is called positive response. The response away from the stimulus is called negative response. So therefore, the tropic response, we are going to say, tropic response is the type of response offered by plants. This response can be positive or negative. Moving towards stimulus is called positive response, while moving away from stimulus is called negative response. Okay. We move on to the next question, which is question 9b. Question 9b, the question leads, discuss the role of auxins in a shoot receiving light from one side. Describe the role of auxins in a shoot receiving light from one side. So we know that auxins are hormones responsible for growth in the shoot, and auxins respond negatively to light. In short, they move away from light. Auxins move away from light. So we can see that a high concentration of auxins uh, has moved from are moving away from light. So as a result, the shaded part will glow more than the illuminated part. So for this reason, the shoot will bend towards light. So because of this process will make the shoot to bend towards light. So auxins is a plant hormone which is synthesized at the tip of the shoot. It helps the cell grow longer. Okay, so therefore we are going to say auxin becomes more concentrated on the side of the plant that is not facing the light, the shaded side. In the shoot, this causes the shaded side to grow more quickly. This helps the shoot to bend towards light. Light is needed by the plant. So we know that light is needed during the process of photosynthesis. So this process that is making the shoot to bend towards light will help the shoot to access light, and light is one of the factors needed by the process of photosynthesis. We have answered question B, Roman numeral 1. Let us shift to the next question, which is the question 9b, Roman numeral 2. Discuss the role of auxins in a radicle growing horizontally. So the radicle in this case, we are talking about the root. So auxins doesn't support growth in the root. So because of gravity, the high concentration of auxins will be found on the lower part of the radicle or on the lower part of the shoot. So because auxins in the root doesn't support growth, this will make the root or the radicle to bend towards the gravity or to bend towards the earth. And this will help the shoot, the radicle, to access the nutrients found in the soil. Okay, so therefore we are going to say in a root radicle placed horizontally, the bottom side contains more auxins and grows less, causing the root to grow in the direction of the force of gravity. This helps the radicle and roots to grow towards the soil in order to absorb water and mineral salts and mineral nutrients needed by the plant. We now shift to question 10. Question 10a, the question reads, explain how flowering plants get rid of excess and unwanted substances from their bodies. So the question is carrying 4 marks. So the unwanted substances are removed through stomata and backs of the stem. So these are unwanted substances: oxygen, carbon dioxide, alkaloids, and other nitrogenous wastes. Okay, other nitrogenous wastes. So we have an illustration here. We have excretory organs found in the plant. We have vacuole, we have root, we have leaves, and we have stem. And we have excretory product: oxygen, carbon dioxide, organic compound, and nitrogenous compound. So therefore, we are going to say plants excrete a wide range of metabolic waste products. These are removed from plants through different parts of the plant, such as leaves, flowers, the backs of the stem, roots. Examples of metabolic wastes products include alkaloids, tannins, anthocyanins, oils, latex, and resins. So this is how the this is how the flowering plants excrete unwanted substances through leaves, flowers, backs of the stem, and roots. We shift to the last part of question 10. Discuss the importance of homeostasis. So homeostasis helps to regulate some substances in the body. It helps to maintain balance. It helps to maintain some factors such as temperature. It also helps to maintain level of water called osmoregulation. So the balancing of water is called osmoregulation. Okay, so therefore we have seen that homeostasis helps to maintain temperature, thermoregulation, water osmoregulation, blood sugar. So when there is too much glucose in the body, some of the glucose will be converted to glycogen. When there is shortage of glucose in the body, the glycogen will be converted back to glucose. Then the antidiuretic hormone is the one that helps to balance the water level in the body. Temperature, we saw how the temperature can be maintained. through dilation of arterioles, dilation and constriction of arterioles, um, contraction of hair erector muscles, and the relaxation of hair erector muscles. Sweat will help to maintain the temperature, and this is called the homeostasis. Okay, so therefore, the question is carrying 8 marks. Therefore, it is important for us to give uh, the information that is equivalent to 8 marks. Osmoregulation is important in mammals because metabolic reactions are controlled by enzymes. Enzymes work best in suitable temperature and pH. So, we said enzymes work best at a suitable temperature or optimum temperature or suitable pH. So, if these factors are disturbed, then enzymes won't execute their functions effectively. So, as a result, there will be complications. Changes in these conditions can lead to enzyme denaturation. Homeostasis also helps to maintain established internal environment without being overcome by external stimuli that exist to disrupt the balance. So the homeostasis helps to balance, to attain the balance between the external environment and the internal environment. So homeostasis helps to respond to external stimuli or stimulus. It is also important in the regulation of sugar levels to prevent diabetes. So if the blood sugar is not maintained, someone is bound to have diabetes mellitus. And it is also important in balance of water to prevent shrinking and swelling of cells. Okay, so we have seen that homeostasis is very important in mammals. So we have come to the end of this video. So if you find this video impactful, if you find this video helpful, react to this post, subscribe to my channel, or follow my Facebook page, and share this video to to our friends and families. Thank you for watching this video.